It's Saturday. You know what that means. We're live. We are live on a Saturday. And things are about to get very interesting because if you don't know who I am, please allow me to introduce myself. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle Wait for it! To mankind! This is the Lightning Flash update for Saturday, January 9th, 2021. And we are going to get things started in a big way here as we got 5 people watching so far. We got 5 people watching so far, but why? Why do I only see 6 people watching, actually? Why do I only see 6 people watching? You see, I shared this out on all platforms of social media, and that's what we need to continue to do. So, first things first, I hope everyone's doing great. We got Adam in the chat. We got Cool King. We got Danielle in the chat. We got 8 viewers. Please, come on, make yourself known. Make yourself known who's watching, and when you come in, you got to be sure that you hit the thumbs up because we got a lot of material that we're going to be talking about today. But welcome one and all. Thank you all for spending your Saturday with your boy. Thank you all for spending your Saturdays with the greatest fucking YouTuber of all time. I mean, come on. You are correct, Adam. That is Royal Rumble 2019 playing in the background. Apparently, I hear that Danielle shared out the stream, so we are going to check on Twitter right now. Make sure that she did share out the stream. See what we got over here. She did indeed. So, let me send out some retweets. We got a lot of material to talk about. You are going to want to stick around until the very end. It's going to be a long stream. We got a lot of material to discuss. So first things first. If you guys haven't already done so, please follow me on the Twitter sticks. Of course, at HistoryMakerDJS is my Twitter handle. You will find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Follow me on Instagram at TheDJStorms. Add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email, of course, is StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all the links are in the description. Please go check them out. It is vital that you check out these links. Follow me on all platforms, social media. Thank you very much for sharing, Mr. Adam. We are just going to check social media, make sure everything is in check here. Indeed it is. So, if you guys haven't already done so, we got 7 people watching, only 6 thumbs up. Here's what I need you guys to do. If you guys haven't already done so, I need you guys to hit the thumbs up. I don't know why you aren't hitting the thumbs up. If you're in here, you gotta hit that thumbs up because that way the stream gets more views. That way the stream gets more, what's the word that I'm looking for? It gets more attention, if you know what I'm saying. That's what we need to do. We need to get this stream to 30 likes. 30 likes is the goal. It's not very hard. All you need to do is make sure you like the video when you come in. That's number one. And number two, I need you guys to share out the stream on all platforms of social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, or Tumblr, or YouTube, or whatever the hell you share it out on. I need you guys to share it out on all platforms of social media and get everyone in here, your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, grandparents, dogs, cats, guinea pigs, hamsters. Everyone is going to want to get in this stream because we are going long. I'm telling you, we could very well end up going over 3 hours, so we got a lot of material to discuss, a lot of things to rant on. The likes are already going up. We're almost at 10 likes already, so I know that things are about to get real. I know that things are about to get real. We're almost at 10 likes. We're 1/3 of the way there to the goal of 30 likes. Hell, we can maybe even get to 40 likes. So, please continue to like the stream, share it out on all platforms, social media, and when you share it out on all platforms, you got to make sure that you hit the subscribe button, as well as keeping the chat alive. People are keeping the chat alive, of course, Adam, Cool King, Miss Danielle, so please keep the chat alive, and of course, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to be subscribed. You're going to want to be a member of the DJ Storms posse. I got a new shipment of wristbands coming at the end of the month. So if you want a wristband, be sure to send me a DM, send me a message, send me a text, give me a phone call, and I will be sure to send out some wristbands to you and anyone else that would like wristbands. Of course, when you hit the subscribe button, you got to make sure you hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. I mean, come on, it's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination. This beautiful mustache right here. Give me 1 second. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, come on. Everybody wants a piece of the Storms, Meister. Hannah Bliss actually just shared me out on Twitter. Thank you very much, Miss Hannah Bliss. She is awesome. She is one of the best members of the DJ Storms posse that I got. I owe her the absolute world. She is absolutely fantastic. Much love to Hannah. I'm assuming that we'll see Hannah in the stream at some point. I will send you and your girl some wristbands, trust me on that. Hannah is here, and we're already over 10 likes. We got 12 likes. That's what I'm talking about. You see, that's why I love you guys. You guys are always coming in clutch. It's going to be a good stream. Let me know if there's any echo on the microphone. Is the mic coming in good? I just want to make sure that the mic is coming in good. If there is any trouble with the microphone, please let me know. We got 13 likes, and we are not even 10 minutes into the stream. That is what I'm talking about. So I need you guys to keep on doing it. I need you guys to keep on sharing it out. Get as many people in here as possible. We are going to get as many likes as we possibly can. We're going to make this a damn good show. Now the party can start, because now we're going to get straight into the news, rumors, and reports. I will check the chat after I'm done with the news, rumors, and reports. So first things first, we are going to talk about a report from bodyslam.net, a site run by WWE cocksuckers. Apparently AEW is making plans outside of Jacksonville in February. Now the report read, and I quote, AEW will record several weeks of Dynamite's and Dark's tapings and their upcoming Revolution pay-per-view in Miami before returning to Jacksonville in March. Plus, it was noted that a change of scenery would be good for everyone's morale. End quote. Now, I do believe that this also has to do with the fact that the colder weather is starting to come in throughout January and February in Florida, and they want to move to Miami, which is one of the warmest places in Florida, to make sure that everyone can wrestle in a decent temperature. I do not mind this. I do not mind this whatsoever. AEW has been consistently putting on great shows, and that's all I care about at the end of the day. The one thing that I am very much looking forward to is if this is the bridge, if this is the gateway to wrestling shows being able to travel around the country. We all know that we have not had any wrestling shows traveling around the country in almost a year because of COVID-related reasons, and everyone has just been wanting things to go back to normal. So I do believe that this could very well be the gateway to getting normality back in terms of the professional wrestling world. We're going to see if the vaccine is going to start to take into effect, and we could very well end up getting wrestling shows traveling across the country here and there, depending on how bad the COVID cases are in the different states and or the different cities that they're traveling to. We're going to see how it plays out, but I am very, very pleased to hear this, and I think that this is going to be a very good move, a step in the right direction for professional wrestling as a whole. AEW right now, they're making waves, not just in professional wrestling in terms of storytelling, but in terms of getting themselves out there and bringing normality back. And I am very, very pleased to see what happens next. So anyone who's interested, that could very well be the gateway to getting wrestling shows to travel across the country once again. Moving on to a report from Mr. Dave Meltzer. Mr. Dave Meltzer, he reported that the WWE title match between Drew McIntyre and Goldberg, if you watched the 3-minute segment that happened this past Monday on Raw, Goldberg came out, interrupted Drew McIntyre after McIntyre recently retained over Keith Lee, and he challenged Drew McIntyre to a WWE Championship match. This match was apparently planned only a few days before Raw because WWE officials decided that no one else was ready to challenge Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. It is also worth noting that by way of cage-side seats, Meltzer also noted that Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee went on too long. It went on too long, and McIntyre was supposed to cut a promo that Goldberg would be responding to, and that's why the Goldberg promo didn't make any sense. Well, first off, the fact that Goldberg is back challenging Drew McIntyre, that doesn't make any sense, period. Goldberg being back doesn't make any sense, period. Number one. Goldberg challenging McIntyre doesn't make any sense. Nothing with Goldberg in 2021 makes any fucking sense, so, I mean, come on. But here's the thing that I don't understand. They're claiming that no one else was ready to challenge Drew McIntyre. Number one, whose fault is that? That is on them for not building up any other credible challengers. That's on WWE for not building up any other person to challenge Drew McIntyre outside of maybe Keith Lee and Sheamus. And on top of that, if you're claiming that no one else was ready to challenge Drew McIntyre at the Rumble, you put Keith Lee in a match with Drew McIntyre on Raw Legends Night. So by that logic, Keith Lee was ready. So here's what I don't understand. I don't understand why you didn't just do Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee at the Royal Rumble at the end of the month. I don't understand why you needed to put a gimmicked pay-per-view, not even a gimmick pay-per-view, a gimmick show on Monday Night Raw, Raw Legends Night, and you needed to place a WWE title match between Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre on a gimmick Raw just to spark up the ratings because you're too lazy to think of any other way to generate interest in a product other than wasting a pay-per-view match on free television. You really couldn't have waited a few more weeks to put this on the Royal Rumble? This isn't NXT. This isn't AEW where there's 4 pay-per-views a year, 5 pay-per-views a year. This is what you're not getting. You have a pay-per-view every single month. WWE has pay-per-views once a month. You're telling me you could not wait a few more weeks to put this match on the Royal Rumble? Think about this. Think about how much better off you would have been. A, it would have been on a bigger stage. There would have been more likes. There would have been, not even more likes. There would have been more views, more eyes on the match. There would have been more eyes on Keith Lee. You could have had the same exact match that you had on Monday Night Raw at the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre still could have retained. and we would have all been free of the fear of Goldberg potentially winning the WWE Championship from Drew McIntyre and going into WrestleMania 37 with the WWE Championship. So you could have saved everyone the fear of having Goldberg beating McIntyre and going into WrestleMania with the WWE title to do what? I don't know. To do what? I don't know. But you could have saved everyone the fear, number one. You could have gotten Keith Lee in a bigger spotlight on a bigger stage, one of the big 4 pay-per-views. You would have had a challenger for McIntyre. McIntyre still could have retained, and then you could have built towards McIntyre and Sheamus at WrestleMania 37. I'm going to say the same thing that I said not even a couple weeks ago. Last week. I said this shit just last week. Does nobody think? You had everything lined up for Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre if you wanted to do a WWE Championship match at the Rumble, and you didn't. Now we're stuck in this scenario. Normally I wouldn't just stop the reports to check the chat, but man, we got a lot of people coming in. We got Ruben, we got TM, Midnight Rose, she was here. Jenna, of course, she's here. Joe Fo in the ring. How you doing? Hannah's still here. Gadget Gaming, how are you? Man, we got a lot. We got a lot of people. Man, everyone's coming in clutch. We just need 2 more likes to get to 20. If you guys haven't liked the stream, I mean, come on, just like the stream. Come on. We got a lot of people in this stream right now. Normally, I wouldn't just stop. I would not just stop, but man, you guys are coming in clutch. You guys coming with 12 viewers already. Come on. 2 more likes to get to 20, and then we need 12 more likes to get to 30. I think you guys can do it. But anyway, let's get back to the news, rumors, and reports. We are going to move on after I just did a full-fledged rant on Goldberg and McIntyre being booked because there's no one else. So we're going to move on to our next report from John Alba of Spectrum Sports 360. He reported that multiple sources indicated that there are currently no plans for WWE to have fans at the Royal Rumble. He tweeted out 2 separate tweets. And I quote, these are the 2 separate tweets right here. The Super Bowl in Tampa will have limited capacity at the outdoor Raymond James Stadium, while AEW runs limited capacity at its outdoor Daly's Place. The Thunderdome, as WWE has said, is a closed set and remains that way for now. This is the second tweet. As I've noted, it's pro wrestling. Plans are always subject to change, but the plan as of now, January 7th, which is when he tweeted it, does not include fans in attendance at Tropicana Field. Now, I'm almost certain that no one really cares whether there's fans in attendance or there's no fans in attendance. At least no one with a brain. Specifically because of the fact that with WWE, it really doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't fucking matter whether there's fans in attendance or whether there's no fans in attendance. Because at the end of the day, the WWE main roster product as a whole just sucks. It just flat out sucks. It flat out sucks because of the lack of direction, the lack of creativity, the lack of listening to its audience, and the fact that Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon are disorganized old farts. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter whether there's fans in attendance or not. And to be quite honest, I'm going to say the same thing that I've been saying every single time I talk about these specific types of reports. I don't give a shit. I, honest to God, don't give a shit whether there's fans in attendance or not. All I'm looking for is a decent wrestling show with wrestling I can actually invest in, characters I can actually invest in, feuds and storylines that are engaging, and storylines that actually make sense in terms of long-term booking. When you think about what's going to happen long-term, at least I want to watch a show in which things are going to make sense. But to be quite honest with you, nothing on WWE television makes sense. Barely anything on WWE television makes sense. Just look at what happened on SmackDown. Just look at what fucking happened on SmackDown. I don't know what the fuck's going on SmackDown. And Roman Reigns is on SmackDown. He's the best fucking thing in the entire WWE right now. He may be the best thing in all pro wrestling right now. I don't give a shit whether there's fans in attendance. All I care about is you giving me a decent Royal Rumble. That is the only thing on my mind. That is the only thing that I care about. Give us a decent Royal Rumble. Give us great matches with the right outcomes, with the people that we want to see succeed. That's all that I'm asking for. Is that so fucking hard? Is that so fucking hard? Please. Please. Moving on to another report here. And after we're done with the reports here, I promise I will check the chat. I will catch up with everyone in the chat. Moving on. For those of you who have been watching Impact Wrestling, in a report on their Patreon page, Fightful reported that Ethan Page has already left Impact Wrestling. This cinematic match for Hard to Kill, where it's the Karate Man, which is obviously him, versus Ethan Page. This was filmed back in November, so Ethan Page has already left Impact Wrestling, and now he is a free agent, apparently. So, for those of you wondering what's going on with Ethan Page, that's pretty much what's going on with Ethan Page. He's got the cinematic match coming at Hard to Kill in just 1 week. I don't know what is going on in terms of his career. I don't know where he's going to go. I'm not sure if we're going to see Ethan Page go to AEW or Ethan Page go to NXT. I don't know what's going down with Josh Alexander, and to be quite honest with you, I don't know how I could see Ethan Page without Josh Alexander, because the North are such a great tag team. I remember watching their tag team matches with the Motor City Machine Guns and the Good Brothers, and what else? And frickin' Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock when I watched Slammiversary back over the summer of 2020. Everything that the North have done as a tag team have been great. They're almost like Impact's version of FTR, if you know what I mean. So it's going to be very hard for me to watch Ethan Page wrestle, no matter how good Ethan Page is. And Ethan Page is a great professional wrestler, don't get me wrong. But it's really going to be hard to envision him without Josh Alexander, because they just gel so well together. So I don't know what's going down with Ethan Page, but for those of you who are wondering, that's where Ethan Page currently stands. He has already left Impact. He might have already left Impact after his final appearance. I have not been watching Impact, so I do not know when his final appearance was. I'm not sure if it's going to be this Tuesday. I'm not sure if it's going to be... I'm not sure if it was already like a couple Tuesdays ago on Impact Wrestling. I don't know what's going down with Ethan Page and Impact Wrestling, but as of right now, it's just going to be hard for me to envision Ethan Page without Josh Alexander, because the North are just so great. Going on to my final report here, and then I will check the chat. I promised I will check the chat. I promised. As you can see by the thumbnail, this is an interesting report. Kevin Eek, yes, that is his last name, E-C-K, Kevin Eek, a former WWE writer, recently spoke about his time with WWE during the ROH Strong podcast, in which he said that Vince McMahon said nobody wants to see the girls fight over the guys, so trying to push the women's division at that time was a losing battle. So he stated, and I quote, "Me and some of the other writers were trying to get the women's division of being a little more than just 2 minutes. We had Natalya and Beth Phoenix. Vince said, nobody wants to see the girls fight over the guys, so it was a losing battle. I remember one of the SmackDown head writers came in and he goes, Sarah Del Rey has been signed. Not as a talent, as a coach. We're not using her as a talent at all. Don't even go there. It was like, do not, under any circumstances, pitch her on TV. I couldn't get over it. End quote. Now, this may have been a decade ago. But what people don't even understand is Vince is still like this. Vince still has this mentality. And it's not even just with the women. I don't want to make this just about the women specifically. It's not even just about the women. Vince has this mentality when it comes to anyone he dislikes. If he doesn't like you, if you don't cater to his good side, then you're not fucking going anywhere. It doesn't just have to do with the women. It really just doesn't have to do with the women. You take a look at everyone that has come up from NXT, male or female. You take a look at everyone on the main roster, male or female. And who can you say Vince McMahon legitimately likes and is actually pushing as a legitimate star? No one outside of Roman Reigns, realistically. Nobody outside of Roman Reigns, realistically. And Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman have creative control over what they're doing. None of that is Roman Reigns and Bruce Pritchard. Although, I do believe that the storyline and the angle and the bullshit that we saw on SmackDown just last night, that had everything to do with Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. But a lot of people don't understand that Vince McMahon still has this mentality. He will openly say, nobody wants to see this person over that person, or nobody wants to see this. He said no one cares about the Intercontinental title when Chris Jericho pitched a match between himself and Wade Barrett at WrestleMania 29. And Chris Jericho ended up facing Fandango at that WrestleMania, and he lost to Fandango. People don't understand that Vince McMahon has this mentality where he'll say, nobody wants to see this over that, because he thinks that he knows what's best. He thinks he's fucking God. I have no problem if you think that you're right all the time. I have no problem with that. But when it comes to running a business, look, if you want to go off and you want to live a life where you think that you're right all the time, and you want to do things your way, and you want to do this, and you want to do that, and it's either your way or no way, I have no problem with anyone that wants to live that way. But if you're running a fucking business, a multi-billion-dollar company, a public fucking company, if you're running a business like that, then that ain't the fucking mentality that you want to run the fucking business with. You need to be open. You see, I run this shit by myself. I am my own boss when it comes to this. I can do and say whatever the fuck I want, and if people don't like it, they can fucking leave. But Vince McMahon, he is working with numerous amounts of individuals. That is not a type of hobby or business. This is the type of shit that I can operate on my own without anyone's help. I can operate this shit on my own without anyone's help. Vince McMahon can't operate a fucking wrestling company without anyone's help. Vince McMahon needs everyone else more than everyone else needs him. And that's the mentality that he needs to fucking kick. He needs to fucking kick this I'm always right mentality out of his fucking head. And he needs to start fucking listening. Will that happen? No. I've said it numerous amounts of times. The only way that the company is going to change is when Vince McMahon passes away. That was pretty much it. Those are your news, rumors, and reports, people. We're going to check the chat. Jenna waved to Hannah. I'm glad that everyone is bonding. Adam says either Goldberg wins and McIntyre gets buried, or Drew retains and Goldberg enters the Rumble at number 30. God fucking help us if that happens, Adam. Jenna, WWE TV hasn't made sense and it's been coherent for years. You're telling me about it. Danielle apparently liked it when I said old farts. We are at 26 likes. You guys came in fucking clutch. We are just 4 likes away from 30. Share it out on all platforms of social media and get some people in here. Come on. Johnny Sin versus Roman Reigns in 2021 Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Cross Devil is here. How you doing? Hannah says DJ Storms is the best thing on YouTube. You damn fucking right. That's why I have you here. I'm glad that you're doing all right, Mr. Cross Devil. Danielle obviously agrees with me. Vince McMahon looks terrible. Hannah, DJ Storms needs to replace Vince McMahon ASAP. Man, you're telling me. Cross Devil, DJ, BC Amplify, JD all working together would be legendary. I don't know. You're going to have to talk to them about it. Because, they got their own shit going on. We pretty much just pass each other like ships in the night. Someone with the dislike? Hey, one dislike versus 26 likes. Just keep on liking the stream. That's all I need. Come on. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? I mean, come on. Here's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to get me to 30 likes. Hell, give me to 40 likes. We're already at 26, and the stream is only a half hour old. So, shit's got real. Shit has definitely got real. So, please, keep the likes coming. Keep the views coming. You guys are doing excellent. Cool King says DJ Storms is superior to Vince McMahon. You're damn fucking right, I am. No fighting now. Don't worry. I'll rant. I'll rant for you, Danielle. Speaking of which, we're going to get into the weekly show reviews. We got a lot of material to dissect as far as the weekly show reviews go. Monday Night Raw. Holy shit. Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. Do I got some shit to say about this? Well, I got some shit to say about Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. The first Raw of the new year. Raw Legends Night. Miz TV. Miz TV started off the show. Yeah. Miz TV started off the show. Yeah, new year, same old shit. Yeah, I can see all of those individuals. When I close my eyes, I can see all of those individuals looking on social media, seeing that Miz TV is starting off Raw Legends Night. Oh, I have to rush to the television to turn on Raw. I'll check the chat after I finish reviewing Monday Night Raw, so just hang tight, everyone. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, I usually take about 5 to 6 pages of notes for Raw. I could not have given any less of a shit about Monday Night Raw. I only took 3 pages. That's how little I cared about Monday Night Raw. That's how little I cared. So Miz TV with Miz and Morrison. Hey, ho, ho, correct! Gotta hear that every fucking 10 seconds. So they run down the list of legends. So they hype up The Miz as Mr. Money in the Bank, which I don't fucking understand why they even gave The Miz the Money in the Bank contract back. It's a lose-lose situation no matter what happens. Whether it is a successful cash-in or whether he fails again, the Money in the Bank contract's a fucking waste. I don't want to hear a fucking word out of anyone. They introduce the New Day, and New Day say, we got our own show. It's called New Day Talks. So they're acting like Miz and Morrison are their guests. They mocked Miz's correct catchphrase. I got a question for everyone else. Did I nearly throw up in my mouth watching this segment? Oh, well, yes, you did, DJ Storms. Correct! So Kofi keeps on mocking the Miz's correct catchphrase. They asked Miz and Morrison about their New Year's resolutions, and Morrison's actually answering them, and he actually talked about his New Year's resolutions. So Teddy Long then came out. Yes, Teddy Long, holla holla playa. And he says that, I got the perfect solution here. Miz and Morrison will face The Undertaker. So Miz and Morrison, they were looking at each other like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? New Day were hyping up Teddy Long like juvenile delinquents. And then he goes, my bad. And he made a tag team match between The New Day, Miz, and Morrison to start the show. Oh, how riveting. How riveting. So we get this tag team match. I couldn't give a shit. Kofi with a monkey flip, turning Morrison inside out. Morrison was selling his ass off for Kofi Kingston. Kofi with a plancha, taking out Miz and Morrison. Coming back from commercial, Woods got the hot tag. Woods was taking out Miz. Kofi took out Morrison, and Woods hits the Shining Wizard, and Woods pins Morrison for the win. And the New Day beat Miz and Morrison. Standard match, but at the end of the day, I don't understand why we needed to see this match again. I don't understand why we needed to see this match again. I don't understand what was the fucking point of this match. Oh, and by the way, New Day beat Miz and Morrison, but Keith Lee can't beat Miz and Morrison. But Keith Lee is fine, right? Keith Lee's not buried. Keith Lee is not on the downward spiral, right? But if the New Day can beat Miz and Morrison, if Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman, if they all can beat Miz and Morrison, but Keith Lee can't, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the fact that other people, other individuals in the community, not named DJ Storms, just aren't fucking smart. New Day beat Miz and Morrison. I don't give a shit. More likely than not, we're going to get the New Day in the Hurt Business as an interim title defense for the Hurt Business. I really don't see who else they would have lined up for the Hurt Business other than the New Day and the Lucha House Party, which the Lucha House Party actually beat the Hurt Business later on in the show, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that. New Day beat Miz and Morrison. Angel Garza ran into Alicia Fox, Sergeant Slaughter, Mickie James, and Tatanka backstage. Which, by the way, Alicia Fox fucking sucks. I don't give a shit who you are. Alicia Fox is absolute AIDS. She ain't a legend. The only people that think Alicia Fox are legends are these Alicia Fox stans with Alicia Fox pictures with 24 fucking followers on social media. By the way, he's the 24/7 champion. He won the 24/7 title at a New Year's Eve party for WWE. That's all I need to know. That's all the notes I took. Elias versus AJ Styles. You know, it's funny. I actually praised this match. I actually praised this match last week, and I said that this match itself, the match itself wasn't bad at all. I actually said that the match itself was not bad at all, and Elias actually looked pretty decent here. I'm telling you, Elias actually looked pretty decent here. And of course, WWE, they see all this praise, and they're so fucking lazy that they don't have anything else to do, and they're like, oh, you know what, let's put this match again on next week. Oh, well, we don't care. Let's put this match again on it. We got Raw Legends Night. Oh, we got a WWE title match between Keith Lee and McIntyre. It's not like anyone else is going to care about whatever else happens on the show. Let's put this match again on next week. Laziness. The match last week was actually a lot better. This match was way too standard. Nothing special whatsoever. I mean, nothing on the show was even worth going back and watching outside of the main event. Elias was in control. We had a big choke slam for a 2. Styles tried for the phenomenal forearm, but Styles with a knee out of midair for a 2. Styles with a brainbuster and a Styles clash for the win. Afterwards, Riker went to hit Styles with the guitar, but then Omos kicked the guitar out of Jackson Riker's hand, and it completely fucking shattered. It completely fucking shattered into bits. And Riker and Elias backed off. And that was pretty much that. Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans versus Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Another one that we've seen last week, but they decided to put on again this week. Lacey and Charlotte got into it before Asuka tagged in. We had a code breaker, natural selection, a sloppy-looking natural selection on Peyton Royce. I barely took any notes on this match. Evans broke it up. Ric Flair and Lacey Evans had some back-and-forth flirting towards the earlier portions of this matchup, which caused Ric Flair to become a little jealous when Charlotte Flair was trying to cock-block him. And then Ric Flair tripped up his own daughter, and Peyton Royce got the crucifix pin for the win. And that was pretty much that. I don't understand why we needed to have this segment. I don't understand why we needed to have this fucking match. I don't understand why fucking Peyton Royce is teaming with Lacey Evans. Peyton Royce, here's something. Peyton Royce, I've noticed, is actually trying. She's actually trying to get better. I have a feeling in my gut that Peyton Royce actually cares. And I want to see what Peyton Royce can do. Peyton Royce actually has potential. I'm not even bullshitting. Peyton Royce actually has potential, but you team her with a complete waste of roster space in Lacey Evans. How is she supposed to even break out and shine if you're not even giving this woman the opportunity to do so? You broke her away from Billie Kay just to put her in another tag team with Lacey Evans. The idiocy in all of this. I'm surprised Lacey Evans wasn't fucking released with the 50 other people back on Black Wednesday in April. Another thing. Charlotte and Asuka lost. The champions lose. Which I hate, but the champions lose. More likely than not, this is going to lead towards a women's tag team title match. At some point, when, I don't know. But I want to talk about this for a little bit. I don't understand what WWE is doing with Charlotte Flair. I don't understand why they're keeping us guessing with Charlotte Flair. I don't know why they're taking such an excessively long amount of time to get Charlotte Flair where we ultimately know she's going to be. No one with a brain thinks that Charlotte Flair is not going to be the one to take the title off Asuka. That's pretty much been WWE's motto. Charlotte Flair, at some point, is taking the title off of Asuka. When that is, I don't know. But I don't understand why you couldn't just do it at the Rumble and just get it the fuck over with. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it except for these stans and these Charlotte Flair tit lickers. Who cares? The minority of people, want Charlotte Flair as the Raw Women's Champion. So I don't understand why you are taking such a long-ass amount of time to get her where we ultimately know she's going to be. It's like construction workers, right? It's like construction workers, and they're building a house. These construction workers are building a house, and one construction worker goes to another one, hey, can you bring me that block, a cinder block? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And he wraps a rope around the cinder block, and he's literally dragging the cinder block across the ground to get it to the other guy. Meanwhile, there's a fucking forklift right beside him, and he wouldn't just get inside the forklift and use the forklift to pick up the cinder block and get it to the guy within 30 seconds. Quick, easy, and painless. I don't understand why WWE is taking such an excessively long amount of time to get the Raw Women's title on Charlotte. I would have just done it at the Rumble and got it the fuck over with. And then we could have been thinking about, okay, now who's going to take the title off of Charlotte? I would have just given the title to Charlotte at the Rumble, and then you could have built towards Rhea Ripley and Charlotte at WrestleMania, which I really don't give a fuck about, but at least that would have been somewhat logical as in terms of telling a story of redemption and getting the title on Rhea Ripley by having Rhea Ripley win the Rumble and potentially beat Charlotte, even though I don't think Charlotte Flair has the balls, figuratively speaking, to lay down for someone like a Rhea Ripley. I don't think she has the balls to lay down for anyone. We're lucky that she even put over Asuka last June during Championship Monday. Are you really saving this? Are you really prolonging this for WrestleMania? If that's the case, those plans should be scrapped immediately. Those plans should be scrapped immediately. Why do we need a repeat of WrestleMania 34? We had enough of that. That was the start of Asuka's downward spiral. Asuka's lucky that she has the accomplishments that she has. Asuka's the luckiest motherfucker on the face of the planet that she went into the WWE and she was able to win pretty much every championship in the women's division under the sun, minus the NXT UK Women's Championship. I don't understand what the fucking prolonging is. Just get the title on Charlotte so we can think and we can plan ahead and we can just suffer through it until someone finally takes the fucking title off of her. Nobody wants to fucking see Charlotte and Asuka at WrestleMania again. Is Charlotte really going to win the Royal Rumble for a second year in a row? Because she's in the fucking Royal Rumble. I hope to God fucking not. I wouldn't put it past them, but I'd like to believe that WWE isn't that fucking stupid, although I don't put it past them. But I don't think Charlotte Flair is going to win the Royal Rumble. But either way, we ultimately know she's going to end up being the Raw Women's Champion at some point in the coming months. I would have just done it at the Rumble and have been done with it. Quick, easy, and painless. Just get it the fuck over with. Nobody fucking wants it. Stop stalling to WrestleMania and just get it the fuck over with. I really don't understand why Charlotte Flair is even in the Rumble. I don't. Matt Riddle and Bobby Lashley. Here's another one. Another illogical decision right here. Why is this match even fucking made? Why? Why was this match even fucking made? On top of that, they didn't even allow these two to go. What did they do in this match? It's like every single fucking match outside of the main event was as standard and lackluster as you can be. Literally. They barely even got out of the first gear with this match. Lashley was in control before Riddle came back with a PK and a Broton. They barely even got 5 minutes coming back from their commercial break. Final flash for a 1 count. We had a dominator by Lashley. Riddle actually ran up the ropes towards the ref. The ref ducked out of the way to avoid being hit by Riddle. Riddle actually tapped. The ref didn't see it. Lashley and MVP were arguing with the referee because Lashley technically won the match. And then Riddle rolled up Bobby Lashley for the win. And I fucking almost clipped the wire right here that's connecting my phone, and my phone almost fell on the floor. That would have been a moment in LFU history. Why did you even book this match? It was a lose-lose situation. It was either Bobby Lashley, a champion, was going to take a fucking loss. Champions shouldn't even be losing on television. Bobby Lashley was either going to take a loss, or Riddle was going to have his case for a United States title match squandered. And his case for a U.S. title match would have been dead and buried, and he would have had no credibility. I don't understand what is so fucking hard. About giving challengers matches on television that they can win against other individuals so that way they can work their way up to a championship match. What is so hard about putting Matt Riddle in a matchup against Akira Tozawa or Drew Gulak or Angel Garza or who else? Fucking John Morrison. You really can't put Matt Riddle in a match with those guys and have Matt Riddle win. It would have benefited both parties. Lashley wouldn't have taken a loss. Matt Riddle would have been on a winning streak. And on top of that, it would have benefited either Akira Tozawa, John Morrison, or Drew Gulak because they would have had a great match with Matt Riddle on Monday Night Raw. What is so hard about that? This fucking mentality of, oh, we need to have a challenger beat a champion because we have no other way to build up a challenger. The way that WWE builds up their challengers, it is just so fucking outdated and it's so fucking frustrating. Match should have never taken place. Match should have never fucking taken place. No reason why you couldn't have built up Matt Riddle through wins on television against the people that I just named, you would have gotten people like Tozawa. Instead of having him dress up like fucking Jackie Chan, instead of having him dress up like Kung Fu Naki, and having him chase around the 24/7 championship, instead of fucking Drew Gulak dressing up like a ninja and doing Wizard of Oz reenactment scenes with R-Truth and Jackie Chan, Kung Fu Naki, Tozawa in a fucking dumpster. You could have actually had him on Monday Night Raw, actually having great matches with someone who is a A-plus talent like Matt Riddle. What is so hard about that? We are not even an hour into the stream, and my voice is already becoming shot, and I don't even want to fucking do the rest of the stream. And I may need to go fucking get some more water. Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose was coming down for a match before Shayna Baszler attacked Mandy Rose before the match. Dana Brooke came out, and Dana Brooke decided to fight for Mandy. Dana Brooke was in street clothes. Shayna put the Karafuda clutch on Dana Brooke, and Dana Brooke rolled up Shayna Baszler for a win in 30 seconds. So let me get this straight. Shayna Baszler comes into the WWE less than a year ago, and you have this woman enter the Elimination Chamber, and she absolutely decimates everyone. She is the only person, the only individual in Elimination Chamber history to date to eliminate the entire fucking field on her own. And you're telling me that she gets rolled up by Dana Brooke in 30 seconds. I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of anyone. Dana Brooke is an absolute waste of space. She's a waste of a paycheck. She should have been released with Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Jinder Mahal, Braun Strowman, all should have been gone. All should have been gone. How you release Deonna Purrazzo, how you release the Good Brothers, but you don't release Lacey Evans or Billie Kay or Braun Strowman or Dana Brooke or Jinder Mahal, the Maharaja. Shayna Baszler, I'm telling you right now, Shayna Baszler in her first year in WWE will be remembered as nothing more than what could have been. Nothing more than what could have been. How you put this woman in a position to destroy everyone, and she loses to Becky Lynch in 8 minutes. She doesn't even win Money in the Bank. Then she becomes fucking women's tag team champion with Nia Jax, and now she's losing to Dana Brooke in 30 seconds. Shayna Baszler's absolutely buried. Afterwards, Shayna got taken out with a double flapjack by Mandy and Dana. Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. So Randy Orton throughout the night was actually walking up to these legends, and he was actually getting in everyone's faces. And really giving it to all these legends like Mark Henry. We had the Hall of Pain throwback. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. The match itself was really nothing special. It was just like any other Randy Orton Jeff Hardy match that we've seen. So Orton, he was systematically dissecting Jeff Hardy. Hardy came back with a clothesline off the apron. Orton then wrenched on the earlobes of Jeff Hardy, which is always nice to see. Randy Orton channeling that vicious side of himself. Randy Orton then was on the receiving end of a Jeff Hardy comeback. Jeff Hardy with Whisper in the Wind right to the back of the neck of Orton for a 2 count. Hardy then got caught with the draping DDT. Hardy tried for the twist of fate, but Orton reversed it into the RKO, and Randy Orton wins. Randy Orton actually announced that he will be entering the Royal Rumble match. Now. The match itself was a very standard Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy match, but I will say this one positive thing. The transition, the beautiful transition of the Twist of Fate countering into the RKO, that was a beautiful throwback to the Royal Rumble match that they had all the way back in 2008. I remember 2008, and this was actually before I started watching professional wrestling. I started watching wrestling all the way back in July of 2008. And I remember 2008 was Jeff Hardy's year. It was the year that Jeff Hardy spent the whole fucking year chasing the WWE Championship. And it started with a match with Randy Orton at the Rumble of 2008. And I remember distinctly that beautiful counter. Hardy went for the Twist of Fate, Orton with an RKO out of nowhere. That was a beautiful throwback, and it's always a beauty to see. It really is always a beauty to see. So I will say that one positive. Hurt Business versus the Lucha House Party. Same shit with Riddle and Bobby Lashley. I don't understand why you couldn't just put the Lucha House Party in matches with The New Day or Miz and Morrison or R-Truth and Akira Tozawa. Maybe instead of the fucking 24/7 title, how about you make Truth and Tozawa a tag team? Or Truth and Gulak a tag team instead of having them fight each other? How about you put them in a decent role where they can actually get over? I don't understand. So, Hurt Business and the Lucha House Party. Dorado got a crucifix pin on Benjamin for the win. Now we're actually on the verge of the Hurt Business being teased to break up. So I don't understand what the fuck they're doing there, but if anything, Hurt Business should not be breaking up at all. I can only assume that this is either going to be an interim match between the Hurt Business and the Lucha House Party, and we're going to get a tag team title match between the Hurt Business and the Lucha House Party. Should be rather interesting. Tori Wilson, another non-legend. Tori Wilson sent Angel Garza into a dark room where the Boogeyman, yes, I'm the Boogeyman and I'm coming to get ya. Boogeyman scared Garza before Truth came out of nowhere, rolled up Garza to win his baby back. And he left with Nikki Cross and Tori Wilson under his arms. And then out of nowhere, and I couldn't help but laugh at this because, man, it couldn't have came at a more appropriate time. So Ron Simmons came in after Garza just got scared by Boogeyman, and after Truth won the 24/7 title back, and he left with Cross and Wilson. Ron Simmons came in, and he said, damn. I'm telling you, that could not have came at a more appropriate time. Even Ron Simmons knows that this show is a fucking joke. Even Ron Simmons knows that this show is a fucking joke. We're moving on to the final segment of the show. And then I will check the chat. And don't worry, I see all of your comments. I will read the chat before we get into AEW Dark, I promise. So, Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee. This was for the WWE Championship. The match itself was damn good. Now, I don't want anyone to get all hyped up and think that Keith Lee's on the right track. No, Keith Lee is not on the right track. This was merely one glaring positive throughout a sea of shit. One little diamond throughout a sea of shit is not justifiable. I'm just pointing that out there. You could have one little positive moment, but ultimately the majority is still negative. So Keith Lee Keith Lee right now, he's still on the route to being nothing more than the Black Braun Strowman. I just want to point that out there, and I hope everyone understands that. So, the match itself, though, was damn good. I will say. The match itself, though, was damn good, and the match itself was undoubtedly Keith Lee's best match in his entire main roster career, ever since he came up to Monday Night Raw. That I will say. So Lee pounced McIntyre over the barricade going into commercial. Lee then attempted to wear down McIntyre before Drew came back with a belly-to-belly overhead throw suplex on Lee, which was very, very impressive considering Keith Lee is a big boy. Keith Lee is a big boy. There's a lot of packaging on Keith Lee, and the fact that McIntyre, he got him up, that is very, very impressive for McIntyre. So we had Drew McIntyre coming back with a neck breaker and a big kip up. Then he went up to the top, but Keith Lee dodged out of the way. Keith Lee then with a pop-up spine buster for a 2. McIntyre then had Keith Lee up in a powerbomb position, and this was actually pretty fucking impressive. He had him in a powerbomb position, and he carried Keith Lee to the announce table and powerbombed him on the edge of the announce table, and it looked like it went into the lower portion of Keith Lee's back, which looked like it fucking hurt Keith Lee, and then the table just completely shattered. So that was actually a very nice spot there. That was actually pretty fucking impressive. So, coming back from another commercial, Drew McIntyre with a clothesline, coming off the top for a 2. Lee then got caught with the Future Shock DDT, but he kicked out. Keith Lee then went up to the top, and yes, he did a Spanish fly. Keith Lee did a fucking Spanish fly off the top turnbuckle, nearly landed on his fucking head, but he did a Spanish fly to McIntyre, which looked absolutely fucking brutal. I was absolutely shocked beyond my belief. That was fucking fantastic. And he only got a 2 count. So that was actually very impressive there. That was actually a very, very nice spot. And I'm very happy that they allowed Keith Lee to do that. So, coming back, Drew McIntyre hit a spine buster for a 2. Drew reversed the Spirit Bomb, ducked the Lariat, and hit the Claymore, and Drew McIntyre gets the win. Drew McIntyre retains the WWE Championship in a damn good match. It wasn't the greatest, it wasn't overwhelming, but it was a damn good match nonetheless. It was hard-hitting, it was physical, it was fun. So I will give WWE credit for allowing Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee to give you a semi-decent main event for the WWE Championship. Afterwards, Drew McIntyre took the mic, but before he could even speak, Goldberg's music hit. And he came down the aisle, and he said, I was in the back, and I was thinking, man, there couldn't be a better representation for the WWE Champion. You got the size, you got the speed, you got the athleticism. But one thing you don't have is respect. He says, you look at these legends as tired, washed up old men and women. Not one poses a threat, and that's where I step in. It's all about respect. I find that ironic considering that Goldberg has absolutely no respect for this fucking business as he refused to fucking put over The Fiend back in Saudi Arabia almost a year ago in fucking February of 2020. Remember, I may be wrong, but it's highly unlikely. Just like Goldberg, yeah, I may have respect, but that's highly unlikely. He says, I'm not posing a threat. I'm not demanding anything. I'm just coming to challenge you for that title at the Royal Rumble. Drew says what happened years ago wasn't you. This is not you now. Fighting you would be like fighting my own dad, Nate. And Goldberg shoved Drew to the mat, and the show abruptly went off the air. So first off, the match with Keith Lee was good. Not great, but good. Keith Lee is still restricted. He's not winning the Rumble, unfortunately. Now, Goldberg. I'd like to believe, I really do, I'd like to believe that Goldberg's not going to win the title. I like to believe that WWE is really doing this because they have no one else and they just want to put Drew McIntyre over and enhance Drew McIntyre, but you just take a look at the track record of WWE. I'm not even going to go over the whole track record with WWE. Look at the track record with Goldberg alone. Look at the track record with Goldberg alone. This is the same guy that beat Kevin Owens and The Fiend to win 2 separate Universal Championships. This is the same guy that spoke up and said, beating The Fiend would keep my image as a superhero for the younger kids. So I don't think I should be losing to The Fiend. This is the guy that openly advocated to not put over the future. Based on what's going on with the WWE, I would not put it past the WWE to go with the worst case scenario. And there were people throwing this idea around on social media not even 20 minutes after Raw went off the air this past Monday. I saw people throwing the idea around of Goldberg beating Drew McIntyre and then going on to challenge Roman Reigns, and it's going to be title for title. But I don't know how he would fucking do that, because there's multiple factors that you need to take into consideration here. And I'm going to talk about more of those factors when we get to the SmackDown review, because I got a lot to say about the SmackDown review. You are going to want to stick around for that one, especially after what happened with fucking Adam Pearce. There's absolutely nothing that is stopping WWE from having Goldberg beat McIntyre and win the WWE title and go into WrestleMania with the WWE title to do what? I don't know. Then, of course, there's the scenario, okay, if Goldberg loses, does he enter the Royal Rumble just like Roman Reigns did a few years ago, back in 2017, and does he win the Rumble and challenge Roman? They could absolutely do that too, and I would not put it past WWE to pull that shit. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't put it past WWE to pull that shit. I don't want to think the worst case scenario, but with this fucking company, it is very, very hard not to think the worst case scenario. And I'm still wondering why WWE didn't do what I stated about 35 minutes ago in this very stream. I don't understand. Why didn't you just save Keith Lee and McIntyre for the Royal Rumble instead of pulling the Goldberg bullshit and instilling fear into everyone that we could potentially be on the verge of a Goldberg WWE title reign going into Mania? We could possibly get Goldberg and Reigns title for title, or the potential outcome of Goldberg winning the fucking Royal Rumble. I don't understand why Goldberg needs to factor into any plans, period. If anything, if you absolutely had to get fucking Goldberg in a match, why didn't you just do Goldberg versus Lars Sullivan all the way at WrestleMania this year? I don't understand why Lars Sullivan has been off of television for 2 fucking months. If he's on the roster, utilize the fucking guy, put Goldberg in there with Lars Sullivan, and get Lars Sullivan over by beating Goldberg in a fun little sprint. Why does Goldberg need to be in a fucking championship match? Goldberg ain't a fucking draw. This is going to end up driving people away from the product if Goldberg is to win. But I wouldn't put it past WWE to have Goldberg win the title, or potentially win the Rumble, challenge Reigns, or if it's not title for title, if it's title for title, then Roman Reigns wins both titles and they get Roman Reigns on Raw, just for the simple fact of they're trying to drive up the ratings on Monday Night Raw, and we all know that Roman Reigns is the biggest draw in WWE right now. Roman Reigns is carrying the fucking company on his back. So I wouldn't put it past WWE to pull that shit. But then you got the potential of Goldberg losing to McIntyre and then winning the Royal Rumble. So we're all in fear that Goldberg's potentially going to beat McIntyre, but then he loses to McIntyre, and then he ends up winning the Royal Rumble over Daniel Bryan. I still don't understand why they didn't just do Keith Lee and McIntyre at the Rumble. You would have saved everyone the headache. You would have saved everyone the fear. McIntyre would have had a good challenger for the Rumble. Keith Lee would have had more eyes on him. You could have done the same match that you did on Monday, but you didn't. You didn't do that route because you're too fucking lazy to actually generate any interest in the product by doing anything other than bringing back legends or pulling a big matchup away for free on television. I'd like to believe that this is merely a bridge for McIntyre to get through the Rumble, and we're going to get Sheamus and McIntyre at WrestleMania. Bryan's potentially going to win the Rumble, and we're going to get Bryan and Reigns at WrestleMania. I'd like to believe that. But I just don't fucking know. I honestly don't know. I don't even think they know what to do. They don't even know what they want to do. Something's going on backstage. They're probably going back and forth with idea after idea. They're probably having at least 6-7 hour arguments every single day. They've been having an argument every single day for the last 5 days. We're probably sitting here and we're probably unaware of the fact that for the next 3 weeks, the people backstage in Stanford are going to be arguing back and forth for the next 3 weeks for hours upon hours each day on which route they want to go with this. They don't even know where they want to go. Everything is just an absolute convoluted mess. And don't even get me started on SmackDown. Actually, I'm going to get started on SmackDown, but we'll talk about that later on. We've got a few more shows to discuss before we get into the SmackDown portion of the Lightning Flash update. We are 1 hour and 11 minutes into the stream, and I'm already drained, but I'm still going to go. That's Monday Night Raw. Let's check the chat. We have made it over 30 likes, but you know what? I want to get to 40 likes. So here's what I need y'all to do. Share out the stream again. Get as many people in here as possible. We're going to get to 40 likes. Cool King says Tori is a joke. We have Tina Davies coming in. How are you? Peanuts is here. Ron Simmons always says it at the right moment. Tell me about it, Hannah. Earl Cole is here. Raw's being buried on purpose. I wouldn't be surprised. Danielle's got some pizza coming with breadsticks and wings. Man, that's what's up. 2 main events at the Royal Rumble are trash. Tell me about it, Earl. You are right. I'm going to rant about it, Earl. Stay till the end. I will rant about it. Goldberg is a conversion tool and is designed for you to speak about his relevancy. What fucking relevancy does Goldberg still have? The whole fucking company is clueless. Unbelievable. Goldberg thinks he needs a title opportunity every 2 months. Tell me about it, Hannah. I honestly wish you would have gotten Shinsuke versus Roman. I'm going to talk about that. So just hang tight. I will talk about that. Just checking Twitter. Twitter's blowing up. People love him some DJ Storms. So, we're going to move on to AEW Dark. A very uneventful AEW Dark. We had Nick Camarado versus Jungle Boy. And I'm going to say the same thing that I've been saying again. AEW Dark, I understand why Tony Khan is doing this. I understand Tony Khan is trying to give the independent wrestlers work. But at the end of the fucking day, it is too fucking much. It is too fucking long. AEW Dark needs to be 5 to 6 matches when things get back to normal, or even before things get back to normal. I don't even care. ASAP, AEW Dark needs to be 5 to 6 matches, not 16 enhancement matches. It should be no longer than an hour and 15. No reason why AEW Dark needs to be longer than AEW Dynamite. No reason why AEW Dark needs to be the length of a fucking pay-per-view. Okay? Just pointing it out there. So Jungle Boy gets the win with a modified STF on Nick Camarado. Watch out for Jungle Boy in 2021. Alex Gracia versus Nyla Rose. Beast Bomb in less than a minute for a win. It's always fun seeing Nyla Rose absolutely squash someone. Vicky took the mic. She laughed. She says, "This girl didn't learn her lesson the first time." So Nyla then got a table as Vicky taunted Gracia. And Gracia got powerbombed through a table. Vicky laughed. And that was it. Ariel Levy versus Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky wins with a TKO. Marco Stunt came out before -1. Brody Lee Jr. came out. And he actually cut a promo on Marco Stunt, which is actually very fun. And I gotta tell you, Tony Khan is definitely a class act. Tony Khan is a class act, and Tony Khan is definitely a boss that I would like to have. When I get hired by one accounting firm, whatever accounting firm it may be, I would like to have a boss like Tony Khan, who is very, very, what's the word that I'm looking for? Very, very generous in terms of his human nature. So he says, "When I'm older and I fight you, I'll be so much taller than you." So I actually laughed at this. And then officials came out to separate them. Very fun segment, fun little pull-apart brawl. Khan is definitely a class act. Aaron Solo and Rey Fenix. Fenix wins with the Fire Thunder Driver on Aaron Solo ahead of his match against Kenny Omega. Louis Valley versus Brandon Cutler. Cutler wins with the TPK. I'd love to see Brandon Cutler challenging for the TNT Championship soon. Peter Avalon versus Angel Fashion. Avalon with the sloppy-looking martinis for the win. Ivelisse and Diamante versus Kylan King and Tesha Price. Ivelisse and Diamante work very well. But let me tell you something. We need to see them separately. We need to see them separately. I think their days as a tag team are done. We need to start building up some legitimate challengers for Hikaru Shida in terms of a women's world championship. We need to build up some credible challengers. Ivelisse and Diamante are so much better in terms of being singles competitors and being credible challengers for Hikaru Shida. King got the hot tag. Kylan King's very, very good. I'm actually very liking what Kylan King can do. Diamante ended up winning with a modified submission hold, and that was pretty much that. We had the Gun Club versus Mike Verna and Bear Country. This was a quick matchup. Austin Gunn wins with the quick draw. Bear Country's coming along, but this was the same old stereotypical six-man tag. I didn't give a shit. We had Vipress versus Shauna. Shauna wins with a butterfly implant buster. Baron Black took on Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal won with the modified Russian leg sweep, spiking him on his head. Sydal looked very great. Very interested to see. I was very, very interested to see his match with Cody, which actually turned out pretty well. Ashley Vox versus Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa wins with the Thunder Driver. Match with Baker is going to be interesting. I actually did receive an update that apparently Thunder Rosa came in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID. So that is where she was. That's why the match with Britt Baker was moved. So she is currently away for safety precaution reasons, and I actually got to commend Tony Khan for that. Tony Khan taking the safety precautions with Thunder Rosa. We had Lee Johnson and Sean Dean versus The Acclaimed. And Max Caster is fucking fantastic. Max Caster's fantastic as always. He goes, "These guys got no wins, so I think we can take it. Is this guy 12? Yo, he still has braces. Big Shotty Lee only carries the flag for the Nightmare fam because he carries the bags. Sean Dean is the captain, but he captain a bunch. I'ma cut your mouth like Captain Crunch. I'm the captain now, you just Captain Phillips. And just to be honest, that's a whack-ass gimmick, bitch." So, Max Caster's great. Max Caster's great. I fucking love Max Caster. Max Caster is someone to really watch out for. The Acclaimed is two people to watch out for in 2021. Very, 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 very much looking forward to seeing what the Acclaimed do. So, we had Shawn Dean being isolated before Big Shotty Lee got the hot tag. Lee Johnson's fantastic. I am a huge advocate for Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson is doing some great shit. He really is. So, we had Lee Johnson with a big neck breaker before Max Caster countered with a superplex. He hung on, and then he pulled up Big Shotty Lee into a diving throw suplex by the Acclaimed. It looked like Anthony Bowens landed hard on his leg, but he was okay. We then had Dean breaking it up before Shawn Dean caught the critically acclaimed by the Acclaimed, and then the Acclaimed with the modified assisted side slam, and the Acclaimed get the win. The Acclaimed are going to be very, very, very good in just a few years' time. We had Fuego del Sol versus Danny Limelight. Fuego del Sol versus Danny Limelight. Fuego with a moonsault to Limelight to the floor. Limelight with a powerbomb lung blower for a 2. Fuego with a Frankensteiner before he mounted a comeback. We got a straight jacket neckbreaker for a 2. We had a beautiful Spanish fly off the top by Danny Limelight for the win in a very good match for what it was. This only went about 4 minutes, but it was very good. Danny Limelight is very, very good, I will say. He's coming along. Danny Limelight's growing on me. We then had Darius Martin versus Angelico versus Griff Garrison versus Frankie Kazarian. This was a quick, fast-paced, fatal 4-way match here on Dark. These are the types of matches that we should be seeing on Dark. Competitive matches, not enhancement matches. So Martin got tripped up by Jack Evans before Angelico took over. Kazarian mounted a comeback. We had a big flying forearm. A big cutter on Darius Martin. Griff Garrison with the Stinger Splash. A DDT and a flatliner to Kazarian and Angelico. We had the partners on the outside starting a brawl before Darius Martin with a plancha onto the pile. We had a reverse DDT on Garrison, and Kazarian gets the win in a fun match. Nothing too crazy, but it was a fun match. Kazarian and SCU continue their momentum. I'd love to see SCU versus the Bucks for the tag team titles down the line. Sammy Guevara versus Michael Nakazawa, GTH, the Go to Hospital for the win. He took the mic and he says, "Don't boo me because you know how damn good I am." He said, "Screw 2020. He says, "Anywhere in the world, this is the Sammy Guevara Open Challenge. Sammy Guevara is going to be a champion in AEW." Sammy Guevara making a interesting case of why he should be the man to take the title off of Darby Allin in the near future. And I don't know, it's a race between Sammy Guevara and Pac. So here's what I want y'all to do. Let me know in the chat, is it going to be Sammy or is it going to be Pac that takes the title off of Darby Allin? Let me know. And then in the main event, we had Allen 5 Angels versus Serpentico. Serpentico, by the way, apparently he took exception to the fact that I said, "Who the fuck cares about him?" on social media. Apparently Serpentico is a little soft. Serpentico, more like soft Pentico. Allen 5 Angels with a wing snapper for the win. Should I even acknowledge the fact that Serpentico is trying to, gain some attention off of me? I mean, come on. Serpentico, you claim you're just having some fun with me, but, Serpentico. You think this is my first rodeo? I know how you wrestlers operate. You call out a journalist, or you call out an analyst, or you call out a YouTuber that criticizes you and says things that are right, says things that are factually correct, like no one's really talking about Serpentico, which was correct, and you get all pissy and you make a comment on social media about this person just for likes and retweets. I mean, come on. You think this is my first rodeo? I've advocated for you, dude. You're a good wrestler. I'm not going to discredit your in-ring ability, but you ain't a major talking point. Just get over yourself, man. Stop being so soft. Anyway, that was that was AEW Dark. We got 4 more shows to dissect, but first things first, we are going to check the chat. Cool King says DJ Storm should replace Vince Dunn and Pritchard. Yeah, you're damn right. I honestly wish... Oh, no, I already read that. Cool King says Anna Jay needs to be AEW Women's World Champion. She will be one day. Dab Mania is already starting. No, I ain't dabbing. It's not what I do here. I'm an analyst. Earl Cole says Sami Guevara is his vote to take the title off of Mr. Darby Allin. It's going to be a very, very interesting scenario. We are still at 31 likes. You see, that's a problem. Danielle apparently knows all of these celebrities. I'm not sure why these celebrities aren't watching. So here's what I need Danielle to do. I need Danielle to pull some strings and make some connections because I want to get to at least 40 likes here. So pull some strings, Danielle. Pull some strings. I want to see 40 likes at least by the end of this stream. That's what I want. So I need y'all to do it. David Maniscalco just shared out the stream. Thank you very much, David. I hope that you have already hit the like button as well. But we are going to get into AEW Dynamite. We're going to get into AEW Dynamite. We are going to dissect everything AEW Dynamite related. And Dynamite, let me tell you something. New Year's Smash Night 1, they came out all guns a-blazing. As did NXT New Year's Evil. We'll talk about NXT New Year's Evil. But Dynamite New Year's Smash, outside of the women's title match, Dynamite New Year's Smash was very, very, very good. I was very, very impressed with the amount of effort that they put into New Year's Smash. And let me tell you something. Based on the ending of Dynamite New Year's Smash, if we had 2020 being the breakout year for AEW, 2021 could very well be the year that AEW absolutely takes the wrestling industry by storm. AEW this year is going to make its mark as the most important wrestling promotion in the world right now. I'm telling you, it is going to be a very interesting year, especially with that ending shot that we saw, which I will talk about. But first things first, we're going to talk about the Young Bucks and SCU versus the Hybrid 2 and the Acclaimed. So this was an 8-man tag team match. Normally, a lot of people have been getting sick of these 8-man tags, myself included, but for what we had, it was very, very fun. This was a very fun 8-man tag team match, and honestly, you couldn't have asked for a better way to start off AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash Night 1. We had Nick with the Escalera onto the pile. Evans with a tornado kick to Daniels. We had the heels taking over before Daniels made the tag to Kazarian. Kazarian was lighting up Jack Evans. Frankie Kazarian then made the tag to Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson started diving on everyone. Matt Jackson didn't give a shit. The fact that he's still working through a leg injury is impressive in its own right. So props to fucking Matt Jackson. I just hope it's nothing too serious. So we then had Matt hitting the risky business with his brother. That got a 2 count. We had the super kick party breaking out before Evans nearly rolled up Matt for the win. Matt Jackson then took out the opposition, and we had the best Meltzer ever for the win. This was a very, very, very fun 8-man tag. Nothing too crazy, but it was probably the best way that they could have started New Year's Smash. The Bucks and SCU get the win. Frankie Kazarian then took a mic, and he was talking about the ultimatum that he laid out to Christopher Daniels. Daniels says, "We got your back," talking to the Young Bucks, "except when we step into the ring with you and those belts are on the line. Because if this is our last ride, we want to become the tag team champions again. We want to beat the best tag team in order to do it." So SCU and the Bucks, I believe that is a match that's going to be coming in the near future, which I'm going to be very, very intrigued about. It's going to be a very, very, very interesting scenario. A very, very intriguing storyline between SCU and the Young Bucks that is brewing. And does SCU win the titles? I don't think so. I think this could be the last ride for SCU. I think Jurassic Express is going to be the team that's going to take the titles off of the Young Bucks in the near future. Probably at Revolution. You never know. Jon Moxley made his way to the ring, and he took the mic and he says, "Where I come from, life isn't fair. Bitching and complaining won't get you anywhere. All you have to do is endure. But when it comes down to it, you stare at an adversary and you don't back down. I have a zero tolerance policy for shitty people." And John, I can actually relate to that, Mr. Moxley, because I have a zero tolerance policy for stupid people. He says, "My mentality would be to seek out Kenny Omega and Don Callis and beat them with a crowbar. Kenny, you're not safe. Just remember, I will get even. And some. I promise you one day, you will look into the eyes of the devil and you will beg for mercy because you crossed the wrong guy." Simple, straightforward, to the point, and I can absolutely see Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley having their third match at Revolution, considering that there really is no one that they've built up for Kenny Omega that would be okay in taking a loss. So it would make sense for them to do Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega at Revolution. We had Jake Hager and Wardlow. This went about 10 minutes, and this was a very, very good match. I was not expecting these two to have good chemistry, but for two big guys, this was a very, very impressive match. Both men went back and forth to start off the match. Wardlow trying to use his quickness against Jake Hager. He was tossing Hager around with some suplexes. Wardlow then bulldozed Hager off the apron into the barricade. We had a big exploder and a German suplex for a 2. Wardlow with a big senton. Hager then with the head and arm triangle choke as he kicked out, but Wardlow was able to get to the ropes. Hager, I believe, was going for a superplex from the apron into the ring, but Wardlow dropped Hager across the top turnbuckle, and we had Wardlow picking up Hager, delivering the F10, a very impressive looking F10, for the win. And Wardlow beats Hager in a very good match for the 10 minutes that it was. Much needed win for Wardlow. Jake Hager didn't need the win. Jake Hager is still Jake Hager. Won't really mean too much in the long run. But this was very impressive. Very, very impressive. Very, very much interested to seeing where this Inner Circle storyline leads to. I know for a fact it's leading to something. It's leading to something. Something with MJF. Hager and Wardlow, that's just a side storyline. That's why they did it on Dynamite here at New Year's Smash. But something is going down. Something is going down. Something is going down in terms of a match with Sami Guevara and MJF, or MJF potentially trying to break up the Inner Circle from within. Something's going to go down, and when it does go down, it's going to be very, very intriguing. Right now, the Inner Circle storyline has kind of cooled down. They're trying to get more level-headed. But at some point, something's going to happen. Something is absolutely going to happen. We had Darby Allin and Brian Cage, the TNT Championship weigh-in. Taz got in Tony Schiavone's face for making Cage weigh in first. So obviously, Taz, obviously being the cocky son of a bitch that he is, and saying, "Oh, why does Brian Cage have to weigh in first? Is he the challenger? Oh, that's it." And you know what? No. Go ahead, Cage. Go ahead. So they weigh Cage. He's 272 pounds. Taz says, pure muscle. Darby Allin weighed in at 170 pounds. Darby Allin then took the microphone. He says, Taz, you may say this match has been 9 months in the making, but in reality it's been 27 years. I've dealt with shit from people like you my whole life. We all know how these segments end anyway. Let's just get to the fun part. So Taz told Tony Schiavone to get his sorry ass out of there before the lights go out again. And Team Taz was walking up the ramp. They were looking for Sting. Sting ended up coming out through the tunnel. And Team Taz walked away again. Taz says, next week we crown a new TNT champion, the Machine Brian Cage. And he stared at Darby Allin and he says, you weak-ass son of a bitch. Now, the teases between Darby Allin and Sting, they're getting a little bit repetitive, but I have a feeling something's going to happen next week. Something physical could happen with Sting. Something physical could happen with Sting. It's a slow build, and Tony Khan is just waiting for the right moment to do something. I have a feeling that Darby Allin and Sting are very well going to end up teaming up against Team Taz. We could potentially get Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, or Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, versus Sting and Darby Allin, probably at a later date. We could probably get that on a pay-per-view. But Darby Allin, I do not see losing the TNT Championship, nor should he lose the TNT Championship. No reason for Darby Allin to lose the TNT Championship. Brian Cage already has the FTW Championship. Brian Cage has Taz. They've got Team Taz. They're already relevant in their own right. Darby Allin has only held the title for 2 months. You're really going to take the title off of him after 2 months? The only reason why they took the title off of Brody Lee was because of his health. So people complaining about that, you sound like you look like fucking dumbasses now, but that's the only reason why they took the title off of Brody Lee. They took the title off of Brody Lee after 2 months because of his health. There's no reason to take the title off of Darby Allin. Darby Allin, and please don't give me this fucking excuse of, oh god, well, Brian Cage is 272 pounds, although the big guy's gotta beat the little guy, it's unrealistic. It's pro wrestling. It's a fucking predetermined sport. Are you still living in the fucking 80s? Why do we need to have a big guy beat a little guy? Who cares? Darby Allin needs to retain the TNT Championship. If Darby Allin loses, it would be a huge mistake. Unless they have plans for Darby, which I assume that they do, and they want to elevate Darby, but I would not go forth with Sting and Darby Allin in a singles match just yet. You're going to have to test out Sting to see if he can really compete in a match. And I would rather go forth with a tag team match with Sting and Darby, where Sting doesn't have to do half of the work, and Sting doesn't have to carry half the load. That would be a lot better. Play it safe. Darby Allin retains the TNT Championship. Matt Sydal versus Cody Rhodes. This was a decent match. Really nothing too overbearing, really nothing too special, but it was decent. This was pretty much just two guys who can wrestle, two guys who are great professional wrestlers going in there and wrestling. And that was pretty much that. It really wasn't an overbearingly spectacular match. It was just a decent wrestling match. That was pretty much it. Cody, he accidentally hit Serpentico in the crowd. Cody then with a Scorpion Deathlock to Sydal. A very sloppy-looking Scorpion Deathlock, might I add. We had a disaster kick by Cody for a 2. We had a roundhouse kick and the lightning spiral, which is the modified Russian leg sweep that Matt Sydal is calling. The lightning spiral, but that only got a 2. We had 2 crossroads connecting for the win. Cody wins a decent match here against Sydal before Luther and Serpentico attacked. Matt Sydal attacks, and he helped Cody. Sydal then let Snoop go up to the top. Yes, Snoop Doggy Dogg was at Dynamite. He came out with Cody, and he climbed up to the top, and he did a sloppy-looking splash, a sloppy-looking fucking Snoop splash. And Cody counted the pin for the 1, 2, 3. He counted the pin. Now, all I've been hearing I didn't hear it as much as I thought I would. But of course you have these fucking morons going, oh god, if WWE did this, you would all complain, blah, blah, blah. You know, these fucking cocksuckers. You need to understand something right here. AEW does this shit in moderation. AEW does this shit getting celebrities on the show, but they put celebrities in roles in which they aren't taking up a spotlight from the major talent that they're trying to build up. Serpentico, yes, he's a good wrestler, but in terms of being a major talking point, who the fuck really cares about Serpentico? Seriously, who the fuck really cares about him? He's a good wrestler, but in terms of being a major talking point, in terms of being a major highlight on the show, no one really gives a shit about Serpentico. No one really gives a shit about him. He's just there. He's an extra. Serpentico is merely an extra. He's a glorified enhancement talent. See, WWE does this shit with celebrities and legends, superstars of the past. They do this shit every other fucking week. They do this shit as often as they can. It's not like Snoop Dogg is in a match with fucking Cody Rhodes at Revolution. It's not like Tyson Fury when he was in a match with Braun Strowman. It's not like Hugh Jackman when he punched Dolph Ziggler. It's not anything like that. It's not like Raw 25th anniversary when DX and the Club came out and they beat the shit out of the Revival, or FTR at that time. WWE does this shit and they humiliate top class talents on live television just for the sake of getting a celebrity appearance on the show, and they can get all these major headlines across the fucking internet. That's the problem. Snoop Dogg, he was on television for what? He was standing outside television for 10 minutes. He was just there as a manager. And then he did a splash off the top rope to a glorified enhancement talent. That was it. Was it unnecessary? Absolutely. Was it completely cringe? Absolutely. Was it cheesy? Absolutely. Absolutely. It was absolutely cheesy. It was absolutely unnecessary. And we could have done without it. But why are you going to complain if they're doing some shit like this with a glorified enhancement talent that ultimately no one's going to fucking care about? And Snoop Dogg is not going to be on television for the next fucking 4 to 5 months. He's not going to be put in a storyline with Cody. He's not going to be put in a storyline with fucking Chris Jericho. He was there. He had a little moment against a glorified enhancement talent, and now he's leaving. So I don't understand what the fuck there is to complain about. It was unnecessary, cheesy, and cringy. Yes, absolutely. I could have done without it. If they would have done this against a superstar like Archer or Moxley or Cody, then we would have had a problem. But it's against Serpentico, so come on. Think, people, think. Moving on. Abaddon versus Hikaru Shida. This is for the AEW Women's World Championship. Listen. One thing I will say, I want to say something positive first. I don't just want to completely shit on this, but this was not a good match at all. This was not a very good match at all. Hikaru Shida carried the whole fucking match. That's the one thing I want to say. Hikaru Shida, I will say this. Hikaru Shida has not been properly spotlighted. And Hikaru Shida has really been given the short end of the stick. And it's not her fault. But there's one thing I do want to say that's positive. Hikaru Shida, no matter what she's given, I have a lot of respect for Hikaru Shida that she always tries. She tries, no matter what, she tries to make the best possible scenario, even if the scenario is completely jack shit. She does everything in her power to make sure that the match that she is put in is the best possible match that it could be. And I have a lot of respect for her. She works her fucking ass off. No matter what, she busts her ass every single time that bell rings. And I have a lot of respect for Hikaru Shida. She carried the whole fucking match. She carried the entire fucking match. So, Abaddon, listen, the dedication to the character, I do respect Abaddon for that, but we're gonna have to be quite honest here. This match was terrible, and I'm gonna tell you why it's terrible. Number one, what has Abaddon done? What has Abaddon done to anyone, legitimately? Answer me this. What has Abaddon done in terms of an in-ring perspective that has shown people that she's ready to be in the ring with someone like Hikaru Shida? What has Abaddon done to prove to anyone that she has earned a women's title opportunity? Has she grown? Has she progressed? No. Abaddon is a sloppy, uncoordinated professional wrestler. I'm sorry. And it seems as though AEW just did this match just to get Shida another challenger. And they signed Abaddon specifically for her character and character alone. But I'm sorry to inform everyone who likes Abaddon, and I quite frankly don't give a shit who likes Abaddon and who doesn't, because this is just the facts. This is factual information, and you're just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. A character like Abaddon is not going to work in 2021. The last gasp of hope for a character like that was The Fiend. And WWE fucked that up. After WWE fucked that up, there was nothing more that could be done. Characters like Abaddon are not going to succeed unless they can fucking wrestle, which she can't. And I'm sorry. Abaddon cannot wrestle. Abaddon did not do anything in this match that was even remotely deserving of being in there with someone like Hikaru Shida. Shida worked her ass off. She carried this whole fucking thing. The gimmick is over the top, it's cheesy, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work in this era. And it doesn't matter how many people hype her up. It doesn't matter how many people like her. It's not a popularity contest. If Abaddon does not improve in the ring, if she cannot wrestle, she ain't going anywhere. Unless she actually builds some credibility through her in-ring work, she ain't going to go anywhere in AEW, nor should she go anywhere in AEW. They signed her for her gimmick and her gimmick alone. She is a terrible professional wrestler. So we had a brawl immediately beginning between Abaddon and Shida. Abaddon then got hit with the kendo stick, and then she no-sold it because she's a fucking zombie. So Abaddon then bit Shida's thigh. She dragged her onto the ring, and then she bit Shida's neck again. Shida was bleeding. So that happened. Cheesy, idiotic, corny, unnecessary. Shida then with a crossbody off the top rope to the floor, and she landed it pretty flushly. Again, this is Shida. This was all on Shida doing everything in her power to make sure that this match was somewhat entertaining, and she tried. She busted her ass. She really did bust her ass. Shida then with a superplex off the top to Abaddon. Abaddon with the spider bridge and a big clothesline. That got a 2. Shida with a roll-up. Abaddon kicked out. Shida ended up hitting the Tamashi for the win. And that was pretty much that. Shida retains. Shida carried the entire fucking match. Shida busted her ass, but Abaddon's fucking terrible. Abaddon is not a good professional wrestler. I am sorry. She needs to improve immediately. She really did. She needs to improve immediately, and she needs to learn how to fucking wrestle, or else she ain't going anywhere. A character like that, it ain't going to take you far in the modern era. You need to be sure that you are a great pro wrestler. I see more value in Will Hobbs. I see more value in Diamante. I see more value in Eva Lise. I see more value in Kylan King. And I don't even know what her fucking character is. Kylan King has no fucking character. But there's more value in Kylan King. Why? Because she can actually fucking wrestle. If you ain't gonna wrestle, if you can't wrestle, you ain't going anywhere. This ain't the Attitude Era anymore. Next week, we got a stacked show. We got Pac versus Eddie Kingston. That's going to be great. Serena Deeb is taking on Ty Conchi for the NWA Women's World Championship. Chuck Taylor is taking on Miro. Jurassic Express will take on FTR. And then we got Brian Cage and Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. It's going to be a great second night of New Year's Smash. And then in the main event, we got Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix for the AEW World Championship. People, if you have not gone back to watch this match, you must. You must. This match was absolutely fucking phenomenal. This was an absolute classic. I was at a loss for words when this match ended. This match was absolutely fucking phenomenal. Rey Fenix, I'm telling you, Rey Fenix, if he is not world champion one day, I would be absolutely fucking shocked. Rey Fenix has all the makings of a world champion. He is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Rey Fenix could be the modern day Rey Mysterio when Rey Mysterio came to the WWE in like 2002. I'm telling you. Rey Fenix, he's going to be something as the years progress. Keep your eye on Rey Fenix. This match was fucking spectacular. So Phoenix with a Hurricane Rana onto Omega, onto the floor. Omega then looked like he landed on his head, but he continued the match. Phoenix rolled through and reversed a tornado DDT before Kenny chopped Phoenix in the face. Yes, Kenny Omega chopped Rey Fenix in the face, which looked absolutely fucking brutal. I would not want to take a chop from Kenny Omega in the face. Phoenix then jumped over the barricade, and he went for the roll-through cutter, but Omega hit a Snapdragon suplex on the floor, and then a back suplex on the apron. Phoenix was fucking selling the shit out of everything that Omega was doing. Phoenix then with a drop kick, a big suicide senton to Omega. Phoenix then dropped Omega on his neck with a backflip German suplex. I'm surprised Omega didn't fucking tear a fucking muscle in his neck or break a fucking bone in his neck. Looked fucking brutal. They were dropping each other on their necks. We then had a diving double foot stomp to the back of the head. Phoenix caught a V-trigger to the face, but he kipped up. Just visualize this. He kipped up after the V-trigger and super kicked Omega, and both men are down. And I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, they're going all in on this one. So, Phoenix and Omega then went back and forth. We had an inverted Frankensteiner on Omega. Phoenix then ran the ropes, and he ran from the ramp, jumped over the ropes, into a springboard cutter on Omega, into the ring, and barely got a 3 count. Just barely. Just barely. So Omega was able to kick out. Phoenix then with the frog splash, but Omega got the knees up. Omega then with the Tiger Driver 98, a V-trigger again, but Phoenix still kicked out. Omega then said, fuck this, hits the one-winged angel, and Kenny Omega defeats Rey Fenix in an absolutely fantastic fucking match. I was out of fucking breath, and I wasn't even doing anything. I was just sitting in my chair, watching this match, taking notes, and I was just mesmerized by this. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Phoenix and Omega, it's going to be very hard to top that fucking match. It really is. Don Callis then took the microphone and he said something terrible is happening in the back before he showed Eddie Kingston and his family attacking Death Triangle. Omega was then ordered by Callis to attack Rey Fenix as Moxley came out with a barbed wire bat and he was attacking Kenny Omega. Out of nowhere, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers, with the Impact World Tag Team Championships around their waist, they started attacking. Yes, they started attacking Jon Moxley. We had a magic killer to Moxley before Omega started to hit Moxley with the baseball bat before everyone from the crowd started coming in. We had the Varsity Blondes. We had some of the dark talent that was at ringside, and they were all watching, and they all started to come in. They started to attack the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega before the Bucks came out. And the Bucks were trying to talk reason. They're like, calm down, calm down, calm down. They ended up super kicking Griff Garrison. And then Omega and the Good Brothers, they put up the 2 Sweet, and the Bucks joined in. And I'm telling you, I have not gotten this in a while. I'm actually getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. This was an absolutely fucking amazing visual to see. The Bullet Club back together on American soil. Back together in the United States. The Bullet Club are going to be a major talking point, and we're going to get the Bullet Club and the Elite working together. It's going to be the Bucks, it's going to be Omega, it's going to be the Good Brothers, and we're going to have a fucking hostile takeover of both companies. I'm telling you, I do not want to get ahead of myself. I really don't. I do not want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm telling you right now, if they wanted to, this could be the modern day NWO. If they wanted to, this could be the modern day NWO taking over Impact and All Elite Wrestling. I cannot fucking wait to see what is going to happen. I think this is going to be a great fucking storyline heading into the early months of 2021. I was absolutely blown away. I'm legitimately at a loss for words. I'm not even bullshitting. I'm legitimately at a loss for words. I cannot fucking wait to see what is going to happen. Dynamite was excellent, minus the World Championship match for the women. That has nothing to do with the Kadoshida. Kadoshida is great. That has everything to do with Abaddon. Let's check the chat before we get into NXT New Year's Evil. Proud Mixed Child, what is going on? How are you? Please hit that thumbs up if you haven't already done so. Abaddon is an awful wrestler. Tell me about it, Earl. We have Proud Mixed Child saying that match was grade A garbage. Damn right it was. Danielle laughing at Proud Mixed Child's comment of Nia slacks. Tell me about it. Ray Phoenix can wrestle 1,000%. You damn right, Earl. Tara's Craft Managing. I watched your video and liked it. Thank you very much. We are at 33 likes. Let's see if we can get to 40. We're very, very close, and I think that we can do it. I want you guys to get the stream to 40 likes. You gotta run the likes up. It is vital. It is vital. But we got 3 more shows to dissect. Rants are still to come on SmackDown specifically. Allergies suck. Don't get allergies, people. They're terrible. Now, NXT New Year's Evil. NXT New Year's Evil. Now, I want to say something. 2020, as we know, was a horrible year for NXT. 2020 was a horrible year for NXT. 2020 was the year that Vince McMahon took over NXT because Triple H wasn't getting the job done in his eyes in terms of the ratings, and he wanted to see that his influence would boost up the ratings. So in doing so, Vince McMahon tried, and he realized that no matter what happens, AEW's not going to be losing to NXT on a consistent basis. So he just decided to kill the aura, kill the mystique of NXT altogether, and keep NXT on the USA Network from 8 to 10, specifically so AEW won't reach 1 million viewers. Vince McMahon completely killed the aura and the mystique for NXT in 2020. I would like to believe that what we are going to be seeing from NXT in 2021 will be a lot better. I'd like to believe that based on NXT New Year's Evil, because the only main roster influence that we saw was the fact that we got an impromptu mixed tag team match and Kushida pinned the North American champion. And considering Vince's health is not the best, I'm guessing that Triple H has gotten Vince to scale back a little bit in terms of the main roster booking. I'm going to reserve my judgment, but I would like to have faith. I would like to have faith in Triple H, that Triple H is going to do everything in his power to rebuild NXT, to rekindle that love for NXT, to rebuild the mystique, the aura, the specialness, the love that we all once had for the NXT brand. I would like to believe that NXT is now on the road to rehabilitation, because NXT New Year's Evil, they really came out all guns blazing. And many people were even saying that NXT New Year's Evil was even better than New Year's Smash for Dynamite, which I'm not going to argue which show was better. They were both excellent shows, but I would understand why people are saying that. And I'd like to believe that NXT New Year's Evil, this is going to be a huge step in the right direction for NXT. And I'd like to believe that Triple H, with all of these things lined up for NXT, we got the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic starting next week. We got a women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic starting. We got feuds between Gargano and Kushida brewing. We got a feud between potentially Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. We got NXT TakeOver on Valentine's Day. So I do believe that Triple H is placing all of these things in place. He's setting up all of these things. He's placing all of these things in alignment, and he's setting up to really take back his NXT. He's really setting up to make NXT great again, if you know what I mean. And I'd like to have some faith. I'd like to have some faith in Triple H that he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that NXT is a major talking point throughout the year 2021. And New Year's Evil, that was a big step in the right direction. This was an excellent show, minus the mixed tag team match bullshit, which we'll talk about. We will talk about. But with everything that Triple H has lined up, I would like to believe that he's looking to put 2020 and the horrible year that was NXT in 2020 behind him, and he's going to rekindle that love. He's going to rekindle what NXT once was. And I like to put my faith and trust in him. NXT New Year's Evil was an excellent show. We had Damian Priest and Karrion Kross starting off the match. Or starting off the show, rather. The match started off with Priest in control with some stiff strikes. He had a flatliner connected, a big lariat, and a broken arrow for a 2. Priest then with a springboard senton off the middle rope. Kross then answered back with a huge lariat. That only got a 2 count. Priest, he fought back. He hit a big razor's edge. That got him a 2. Priest then with a tornado kick and a big step-up tope con hero. Back into the ring. Priest with a diving, spinning heel kick and the South of Heaven. That got a 2 count. Kross then with a beautiful Northern Lights suplex and a big power bomb. And this was like the theme of the night. This was like the fucking theme of the night. Priest fucking power bombed. He got power bombed on his fucking neck. It was not on the back. It was not high on the shoulders. It was on his fucking neck. It looked absolutely fucking brutal. I am surprised that Damian Priest got back up. This was nasty. If you watch this match back, it looked fucking nasty. Priest got powerbombed right on his neck. I'm surprised that Priest was able to get back up. Priest then got dropped into the steel pillar on the outside, and then Kross power slammed him onto the bottom half of the steps. Priest then got up, and this is like a little detail that I loved. Priest got up, he looked at Kross, and he was fucking smiling. He was smiling at Kross, and he says, "I'm still standing, bitch." And Kross, he's like, "All right, fine, you're still standing? Fine. So he roundhouse kicks him in the side of the head, roundhouse kicks the shit out of him, hits the Saito suplex, dropping him on his neck. Cross says time's up, and he hits a wicked forearm right to the back of the neck, and Cross gets the win over Damian Priest. This was a very, very good match to start off New Year's Evil. This was a very good opening match. And Damian Priest, it really does go to show you how good Damian Priest is. Damian Priest brought Karrion Kross to his best match in his AEW career to date. This was fucking awesome. Awesome stuff, and I fucking love it. I love the defiance. I love the little detail of defiance in Damian Priest. He's like, I'm still standing, bitch. Before Karrion Kross just absolutely fucking leveled him with a roundhouse kick, a Saito suplex, and a forearm to the back of the neck. That was fucking awesome. Little details like that enhance matches. That's what I loved about this match. Very good match. Damian Priest, I still don't know why Damian Priest lost the North American Championship so quickly. He realistically should have held the North American title until the NXT TakeOver War Games show. We can't really dwell on that now, but still, it mind boggles me. Karrion Kross gets the win in his first match back. Karrion Kross looks to be being built up to face off against Finn Balor. We could very well get the Demon Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross at the WrestleMania TakeOver, which I think is going to happen. Where does Damian Priest go? I don't know. There's been rumors that Damian Priest is apparently getting called up to SmackDown, but then again, it really wouldn't have made sense for them to call him up for the Kevin Owens-Roman Reigns storyline. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to go to SmackDown. I don't know if he's going to go to Raw. Realistically speaking, he should not go up to the main roster at all. Realistically, he should be one of the people in line to be fighting Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. He should be being built up to fight Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. I don't understand why they aren't building him up for a potential NXT title match in the summer. But the match itself was very good. Loved the defiance of Damian Priest, and Karrion Kross gets the win. Very, very, very good match. Karrion Kross was brought to his best match in NXT to date at the hands of Mr. Priest. Gran Metalik versus Santos Escobar. This was for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Metalik and Escobar. This made no sense. Metalik did fucking nothing to earn himself an NXT Cruiserweight title opportunity. He has been featured on NXT since Santos Escobar won the fucking Cruiserweight Championship. I don't think he's been featured on NXT at all, to be quite honest. He hasn't been featured on NXT at all in, like, years. And when he has, he's been there to fucking job. The match made no sense. Metalik did nothing to earn a title opportunity, and the NXT Cruiserweight Championship has not felt important. But, this was a very good match, I will say. The match made no sense, should not have taken place, made no sense, and it was merely made because they wanted to enhance the show to try and beat out All Elite Wrestling in the ratings. They wanted to stack up the show with every possible big match that they could possibly stack the show with. And they still lost the ratings. As you could see, they still lost the fucking ratings. Metalik did nothing to earn a title opportunity. The match should not have taken place, but the match was very good. The NXT Cruiserweight Championship has not felt important. I hope that this is going to be a step in the right direction to change that. I don't know. I hope. We'll see what happens. But I will say that the match was very good. Santos Escobar and Gran Metalik, they work very, very well together. The one thing that I'm wondering throughout this entire fucking match is, why aren't we seeing this Gran Metalik on the main roster? Why do we need to see Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado chasing around the fucking 24/7 championship like fucking morons? I don't understand why we aren't seeing this Gran Metalik, a Gran Metalik that can actually fight, a Gran Metalik that we can actually all collectively get behind. We should be seeing this Gran Metalik on Monday Night Raw. I don't understand why we aren't. So, Metalik Metalik with a beautiful moonsault, taking out Santos Escobar on the outside. We had a springboard senton for a 2. Escobar blocked the Hurricane Rana. It looked like he slipped. He actually looked like he slipped off the apron. But he was able to catch himself, and he slung Gran Metalik into the barricade. We had Gran Metalik mounting a comeback with a reverse sling blade. We had a springboard kick and a beautiful step-up tope con hero. Beautiful stuff right here from Gran Metalik. Escobar then came back with a suicide missile plancha, sending Metalik into the barricade. Dorado then took out Legado del Fantasma. Metalik with a springboard Hurricane Rana to Escobar off the top, but Escobar was able to kick out. Escobar then hit the butterfly shoulder breaker, which he calls Legado, and then he hit the Phantom Driver for the win. Santos Escobar retains the Cruiserweight Championship, just like I expected. The match was very good. I will say that. The match was very good. I still wondering why we aren't seeing that Gran Metalik on the main roster, which we should. Escobar retains the Cruiserweight Championship, rightfully so. I'm interested to seeing what Santos Escobar does with the NXT Cruiserweight Championship going forward. Should be intriguing, but the match itself with Gran Metalik was very good. Xia Li versus Katrina Cortez. So, over the course of the last few weeks, we've been seeing these vignettes of Xia Li and Boa. And it was all building towards the debut of Xia Li and Boa, or the re-debut of Xia Li and Boa, with this newfound attitude, this newfound aggression, and this mystery woman is there too. This mystery woman with her hair covered. It looks like she's wearing white face paint, like a Chinese concubine. So this mystery woman was sitting on the stage in this like golden throne, almost like this ancient Chinese empress throne. And then Boa and Xia Li come out from behind them. Boa's looking like Terminator. Boa looks like Chinese Terminator. Xia Li, she has this veil over her, this Chinese veil over her. Boa removes the Chinese veil. Xia Li then, with these tiny swords, does a sparring technique, some sparring maneuvers with the swords on the stage, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, this is badass. The presentation was beautiful. They legitimately presented Xia Li and Boa and this mystery woman like they're getting ready to take over. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, wow, this is some great shit. This honestly, it honestly reminds me of the old NXT, when NXT had these engaging characters and these engaging angles. And I don't really know what they're doing here. I'm not really sure what they're doing here. I'm not sure what the motive is. I'm not sure who they're trying to get over. I'm not sure if they're trying to get Xia Li over. I'm not sure if they're trying to get Boa over. I'm not sure if they're trying to get this mystery woman over, and they're hyping up the potential debut of this mystery woman. I'm not sure if this mystery woman is even going to wrestle, or if she's going to be a managerial figure for inspiration for Xia Li and Boa. I'm not sure if Boa's going to wrestle next week, but the presentation was unbelievable. And Xia Li legitimately looked like she got a new lease on life. She looked more focused. She looked intense. She hit a big rising knee and a beautiful tornado spin kick that absolutely fucking took Katrina Cortez's head off. If you watch this match back, this kick absolutely decapitated Katrina Cortez, and Xia Li gets the win. The presentation was absolutely beautiful, and if they wanted to, I think that if they're pushing Xia Li, this could end up bringing Xia Li up to that next level. This could very well end up bringing Xia Li up to the next level, and I think that it very well could. I think it's going to be a great a great storyline. I think that this is going to be very intriguing. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. You have my attention. The presentation was beautiful. The presentation was badass. And I actually would love to see Xia Li get up to that next level. I want to see new competitors come up through the rankings. And if Xia Li is going to get elevated to that next level because of this, God bless Triple H. God bless Triple H. God bless Xia Li. She looked great for this squash match. The presentation was awesome. We're going to see what happens, but if this continues, if Xia Li can show more, if we actually get an actual storyline, I think that Xia Li could actually be in the NXT Women's Championship title hunt, possibly by the summer of this year. I think it's going to be great. I personally think it's going to be great to see it play out. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. This was a last woman standing match, and these two women absolutely beat the ever-living shit out of each other. These two women beat the ever-living shit out of each other in this last woman standing match. And let me tell you something. I was not a fan of Raquel Gonzalez. I thought that Raquel Gonzalez was a representation of Braun Strowman in female form. I hated Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez did nothing. Raquel Gonzalez, I said it once, I'll continue to say it. I said that she was the female Braun Strowman. She offered nothing. She was terrible. She was stiff. She was uncoordinated. I expected absolutely nothing from Raquel Gonzalez. But after this, after these last few months, Raquel Gonzalez has come through the rankings, and Raquel Gonzalez has absolutely taken the NXT women's division by storm. And I love... right now, Raquel Gonzalez may be the biggest talking point in the NXT women's division right now, and she's not even the fucking NXT women's champion. That's how good Raquel Gonzalez has evolved. And I love seeing a person evolve. I love seeing a person progress. Raquel Gonzalez has come such a long way, and I am very proud to say that I am a Raquel Gonzalez fan. This match was great. This actually was better than their match at Halloween Havoc. So both women went right after each other. They brought out the weapons early. Rhea Ripley with handcuffs. She actually handcuffed Raquel to the steel chain, and she attempted to whip her with the kendo stick. And then we had Gonzalez shoving Ripley away, and she ripped the chain, and she ripped the handcuff off of this steel grate. And I'm like, son of a bitch, they're really making this woman look like a badass. So then she starts hitting Ripley with this broken steel grate. We then had Raquel dropping Rhea Ripley on the table's edge, the announce table's edge, and it collapsed. She then buried Rhea Ripley under the rubble. Rhea Ripley was able to make it back up. Raquel then brawled with Ripley into the back. Ripley then drove her through a glass door. Both women were able to break the count before Ripley put Gonzalez on a table. She climbed up to the lockers and she said, "Suck it." She said, "Suck it." And she did a senton bomb off of the lockers in the back through the table, which looked absolutely fucking awesome. And she was getting up, and out of nowhere, Dakota Kai came out of nowhere, started beating her with the kendo stick before Rhea Ripley was able to take over control again, and she locked Dakota Kai in one of these lockers, like the lockers that she jumped off of. She threw Dakota Kai into the lockers, and she put a crate in front of the lockers and neutralized Dakota Kai. It's like I was watching something from fucking high school. It was great. So Ripley then barricaded Dakota Kai in the locker. Back to the action, Gonzalez took over. Gonzalez was then thrown into the LED stage. Gonzalez almost landed on the back of her head. Both women then got up. Gonzalez then with a one-armed powerbomb. Yes, a one-armed powerbomb to Rhea Ripley through the stage. Through the stage, completely collapsed. Gonzalez then made her way up. And Gonzalez got to her feet just before the referee counted to 10. And Gonzalez retains. Yes, not retains, excuse me. I was about to say that these women, they acted like they were actually fighting for the NXT Women's Championship. That's why I was thinking about retains. But Gonzalez wins the last woman standing match in convincing fashion, by the way. Gonzalez wins the last woman standing match. Rhea Ripley, this was unquestionably her send-off. I really do not see Rhea Ripley remaining with NXT for the foreseeable future. I don't see Rhea Ripley staying with NXT, unfortunately. Rhea Ripley, she had a good run, but at this rate, we are going to see Raquel Gonzalez take over that spot. We're going to see Gonzalez take over that spot. Rhea Ripley, she is absolutely one of my favorites to win the Royal Rumble, even though I would go with Bianca Belair, but Rhea Ripley is definitely a favorite. And Raquel Gonzalez, it's going to be very interesting to see where Raquel Gonzalez goes, and I can see Raquel Gonzalez being the next challenger for Io Shirai at the next TakeOver. It's going to be a damn good fucking year for Raquel Gonzalez. Just watch. The Way made their way, no pun intended, to the ring. They were escorted to the building by police officers. Gargano then bragged about reversing his championship curse. Candice then called Johnny the most powerful person to exist. Candice then gave Johnny a plaque saying that, hey, his curse is broken. Indy Hartwell and Austin Theory then gave Johnny Gargano a Marvel-inspired picture of The Way. The promo, this entire promo, I'm going to be quite honest, I really didn't mind. I minded what was to follow. So, Johnny then announced that him and Austin are going to be entering the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which I got no problem with. I don't know why Johnny Gargano has to be the North American champion, but him and Austin Theory in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, I don't mind. Shotzi Blackheart came out. Austin Theory was then walking up the ramp, and Shotzi Blackheart, she shot a missile, like a childhood missile that was built into the tank. Shotzi shot a childhood missile right into Austin Theory's balls. So Austin Theory got hit with a missile in his balls, and he's selling it. He's rolling down the ramp, holding his crotch. Theory got shot in the nuts with a missile. Kushida then came out to help, and Dexter Lumis, who was on commentary, he didn't say anything. Now, one thing I will say, Dexter Lumis was on commentary. He didn't say anything. He was just looking at Wade Barrett and Vic Joseph, which I thought was hilarious. He really knows how to play this character, and I'm very much interested in seeing where Dexter Lumis goes. So Dexter Lumis was on commentary. He didn't say anything. We then had Kushida and Shotzi Blackheart versus Gargano and Candice LeRae, and Gargano and Candice were in street clothes. I don't understand why this match was made. I really don't understand why this match was made. This was main roster-esque, main roster garbage, and it, honest to God, it really took away from the show. I'm not saying it made the show bad, but the show up to this point was being booked perfectly. And if we did not have this, then the show would have been a damn near perfect show. I don't understand why we needed The Way facing off against Shotzi Blackheart and Kushida. And if you had to do this match, I don't understand why you needed to have Kushida pin Gargano. Why couldn't you have had Shotzi pin Candice LeRae? Think about this for a minute. Kushida has been on a 9-match winning streak. He's beaten everyone. Arturo Ruas. He's beaten Tony Nese. Beaten Austin Theory. He's beaten Timothy Thatcher, Cameron Grimes. He beat Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream in the same match by pinning Tommaso Ciampa. So I don't understand why he needs to pin Gargano to justify him getting an NXT North American Championship title match. It's just complete fucking bullshit. It's main roster garbage. Champions shouldn't be losing on television, number one. Number two, watching Gargano and Candice wrestle in street clothes, it's not the worst thing in the world because the match wasn't necessarily terrible. I didn't have a problem with the match itself. It wasn't necessary, but I didn't have a problem with it. But why do we need to see this main roster cheesy garbage with Gargano and Candice LeRae, especially after Gargano, who came off a successful North American Championship title defense? Why does Gargano need to take a loss to Kushida just to justify him getting an NXT North American title match at the next TakeOver? It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical, it's counterproductive, and it ruins the momentum of Johnny Gargano in the way. So I really don't fucking understand that. I really don't. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, that was the only main roster influence. That was the only main roster influence that the show had. It wasn't a terrible match, but they really need to cut the shit with the champions taking a loss on free television and shit like that just to justify them getting a North American title match. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's outdated. It's nonsensical and it's counterproductive. They need to switch that shit up. Should not have happened. NXT TakeOver got announced for Valentine's Day. Good. Now you have 5 weeks to build. You have 5 weeks to build. You got 5 weeks of build on NXT television to make people care. I got no problem with this. This is what I wanted. Long-term build. And now we're getting a sense of long-term build starting to slowly come back to NXT. This is why I said I'd like to have faith in Triple H. And I'd like to have faith in his team that they're going to rekindle that love for NXT. So NXT TakeOver is on February 14th. Next week, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is starting. We got the Undisputed Era versus Breezango and Ever Rise versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. That's both next week. Regal also announced that he will soon have the first ever women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And I got no issue with that whatsoever. I think that is an awesome idea. And if WWE was smart, which they're not, but if they're smart, they could actually have the winners challenged for the women's tag team championships and actually make the tag team titles for the women feel important, which right now they don't. They haven't felt important in 2 fucking years. But if they want to, they could actually make the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic for the women feel like a big deal by having the winners not only win a cup, but they could also win an opportunity at whoever the women's tag team champions are. Do I think WWE is going to go that route? No, because they're not smart enough. But that would be an awesome idea. And then in the main event, we had Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor. This was for the NXT Championship. Not as good as their first match, but still a very good match. If you're asking me which was the match of the night for New Year's Evil, I'm going to go with the last woman standing match between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez. So, Balor kicked the rope into O'Reilly's teeth when O'Reilly grabbed the rope with his teeth. We had that being the target of the match. O'Reilly with a kitchen sink and a leg sweep. O'Reilly then with a PK to Balor, and he fell out of the ring. His momentum carried him out of the ring. We had an Achilles lock on Balor. Balor with a shot to the jaw. The Eye of the Hurricane in the reverse 1916. Then he locked in a crossface. Kyle O'Reilly hit the injured arm of Balor. Balor then with a sling blade, a double stomp and a shotgun dropkick. He went for the coup de grace, but Kyle O'Reilly stopped him with a superplex. A double cradle, but both men kicked out. O'Reilly then transitioned into a brainbuster for a 2, and then transitioned into the armbar. Balor was able to get to the ropes. Balor was actually cut above his left eyebrow which actually enhanced the match. Balor then hit a liver shot, a kick right to the liver of Kyle O'Reilly, and then Balor locked in the Rings of Saturn, and Kyle O'Reilly tapped out to Finn Balor in a very, very good match. Again, not as good as their first match. It wasn't the match of the night, but it was still a very good match. A little too technical for my liking, but it was still a very good match. O'Reilly and Balor put on an excellent match once again. O'Reilly with another excellent performance, and I can definitely see Finn Balor facing off against Pete Dunne at the next NXT TakeOver, which of course is on the 14th of February. New Year's Eve was an excellent show. Very much looking forward to seeing what they do in the coming months. And I really would like to hope that this is the start of something new. It's the start of Triple H getting NXT back on the right track. And I think it's going to be in very, 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 very interesting 2021. So I think we can put our faith and trust in Boss Man Triple H. Let's check the chat. We got 2 more shows to go over. We're going to check the chat before we get into NXT UK. Love Rhea Ripley says, Mixed Child reminds me of Jen from Skillet. Skillet's a good band. I love Skillet. Earl Cole, Rhea Ripley shouldn't have been stripped of the NXT Women's title. Very true. Raquel has a lot of potential, says Cool King. Very true. I see a lot of MJF in Dakota Kai. I don't know why, says Cross Devil. Not really sure where you see that. Danielle says, I'm sorry, her name reminds me of the Karate Kid. I don't know whose name you're talking about. Proud Mixed Child, a shot to the jewels. Hell yeah, that hurts. Trust me, I know, that definitely hurts. I've been there. People are mad that apparently the stream's being disliked. Hey, it's 5 dislikes. What the fuck are they going to do? What the fuck are they going to do? Here's what I need y'all to do. I just need to get to 40 likes. We just need 7 more likes. We just need 7 more likes. That's all we need to get to 40. I think you guys can do it. Share it out. Hannah Bliss. We are educated by DJ Storms in every video. You're damn right. Hannah Bliss is a very, very intelligent human being. Earl Cole says he's highly entertained. Indeed. Cool King, DJ Storms is the most entertaining YouTuber. Thank you, Cool King. I owe you. I'll be sure to send you a wristband, bro. DJ Storms is dope with the quality reviews. You damn right, Mixed Child. Thank you very much. Cool King, says Earl, we're doing the rundown for the Royal Rumble 2021. Yes. I was going to announce it at the end of the show. But yeah, me and Earl Cole, we're going to be doing the rundown for the Royal Rumble 2020. That's going to be on the 29th of January, so set your calendar dates there. Hannah Bliss, dislikes equals more views for DJ, you damn right. Danielle, yes, you are popular. You are very popular. So I need y'all to share it out. Share it out, get some more people in here. We are at 33 likes. We have 2 more shows to go over. I think you guys can very well get this stream to 40 likes. Can you? I want to see you do it. So please. I want you There we go. Sorry, a little technical difficulties there. So please, I want you guys to get this stream to 40 likes if you guys haven't already done so. Sorry, I had a little bit of technical difficulties there. I don't know what happened there. But we are still live. We're still up. So, we're going to move on to NXT UK. This is the second to last show. We're going to go over NXT UK. Decent show. Fairly decent show. NXT UK, I believe they are starting to set up a lot of interesting material for 2021 as well. 2020 was actually starting off to be a breakout year for NXT UK, but unfortunately, unfortunately, things went downhill for NXT UK as soon as the pandemic hit. So I do have a feeling that NXT UK is going to start to get back on the right track, even with no fans. So we're going to see how that plays out. It should be a rather interesting scenario. NXT UK started off with Ginny versus Piper Niven. This is a number one contenders match. Decent little match right here, but I don't really understand where they're going with this match. Joseph Connors ended up interfering, so both women went right after each other before Ginny took over. We had an Iron Octopus locked in. Joseph Connors came out to watch the match before Niven mounted a comeback. Connors actually saved Ginny, and Niven actually cannonballed Joseph Connors. Ginny then took advantage. Connors tripped the legs of Piper Niven, and Ginny rolled up Piper, a very sloppy-looking roll-up for the win. Decent little match, but I don't really know where they're going. It looks like Ginny is going to be another interim opponent for Miss Kaylee Ray, at least until Eva Valkyrie's ready. Eva Valkyrie is undoubtedly the next NXT UK Women's Champion. There is no reason why she shouldn't be. Ginny is going to do the job for Kaylee Ray. Piper Niven can't seem to catch a break. I don't really know what the relationship is between Joseph Connors and Ginny, and to be quite honest, I don't really care. It doesn't really interest me. That partnership doesn't really interest me. I don't really understand who would it interest, but it was a decent little match, really nothing too special. Ginny gets the win as I expected. We had another beautiful Eva Valkyrie video package. Very much looking forward to seeing what Eva Valkyrie does. I still have it in my mind that Eva Valkyrie is going to take the title off of Kaylee Ray. We had Tyler Bate talking about his loss to A-Kid. He says, "So long as I remain open to learn from a place of authenticity, I'm liberated from any pain. I want to change the art pro wrestling chose me. I need to look deep inside. If I act like this, everything will fall into place. Don't ever let your fear turn you against your playful heart." So it was a very inspirational promo from Tyler Bate, and I don't know where this is leading to. I'm assuming that this could very well lead to another Tyler Bate versus Walter match, but it really doesn't look like they are planning to do Tyler Bate and Walter anytime soon. Their matchup at fucking NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff was fucking legendary. That was probably the second best match of the entire fucking year. So I don't know where it's necessarily going, but next week we got Tyler Bate versus Sam Gradwell. That should be interesting. We had Supernova 11 sessions. Supernova 11 sessions with Noam Dar. Noam Dar, with his playful accent, he says he has a modest collection of resolutions that he will achieve. Most handsome superstar of the year, NXT UK World Champion, lead role in the Marine number 475, which I actually laughed at that. Even Noam Dar knows that the fucking Marine has been jammed down everyone's fucking throat. How many movies have there been for the Marine? So I actually laughed at that. He then said, "And Trish Stratus's phone number." Just kidding, I already got that. He then introduced Ben Carter. He called him Ben Carpenter. So he says that he wants to face the best, does Ben Carter. I thought the Ben Carpenter line was actually a little funny. So he was talking about he wanted to face the best before Jordan Devlin came in. Dar says, "Hello, Jordan." Jordan says, no disrespect to Ben Carter, because I've heard a lot about you, but how could you have Ben Carter on the show and not the NXT Cruiserweight Champion? So Dar says in his sarcastic Scottish accent, "When you're the real Cruiserweight Champion, my people will talk to your people, but I'm here with Ben Carter, not Ben Carpenter, so if you want to..." I know, my accent's fucking terrible. Sue me. So, Carter actually says, you know what, I actually agree with Jordan Devlin. He says, you should have no problem defending that NXT Cruiserweight Championship against me. So Devlin then challenged Ben Carter tonight. Ben Carter ended up accepted. Sid Scala ended up coming in, and he said, hey, we'll see the match tonight. Call me crazy. Call me crazy, but I'm gonna be quite honest here. I don't mind. I actually don't mind Supernova 11 Sessions. I'm not even bullshitting you. I hate wrestling-themed talk shows, but I actually don't even mind this. I legitimately don't even mind this. It may be my favorite wrestling talk show because, A, it doesn't overstay its welcome. B, Noam Dar is actually very entertaining. And C, it actually sets up matches later on in the show. And on top of that, it highlights things and people. It highlights accomplishments and people that should feel important. The NXT UK Heritage Cup was spotlighted on Supernova 11 Sessions with A-Kid. And Tyler Bate came in, and we got an NXT UK Heritage Cup match later on in the night. It's making it feel important. The NXT Cruiserweight Championship coming in. It's making these accomplishments, these accolades, and these people, like Jordan Devlin, who should feel important, it's making them feel important. It's making them feel important, and that I can appreciate. That is something that I love. That is something I have no problem with. So, call me crazy. Supernova 11 Sessions may be my favorite wrestling-inspired talk show. I actually do not mind it whatsoever. Next week, we also got Walter and A-Kid for the NXT UK Championship. That is going to be very, very, very interesting. Saxon Huxley took on Dave Mastiff. This is nothing more than a filler match. Dave Mastiff won with the Into the Void, and I do expect Dave Mastiff and Rampage Brown to have a match later down the road, which is going to be something I'm very interested in seeing. Ben Carter versus Jordan Devlin. This was for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Let me tell you something. This went 13 minutes. It was in front of absolutely no crowd. And these two fought like they were in front of thousands of people. This was a great fucking match for the 13 minutes that it was. If you have not watched this match, go out of your way, go on the WWE Network, watch this match, go to NXT UK, watch this match. Ben Carter and Jordan Devlin put on a great fucking match. And to think, Ben Carter is this good at 22 years old. Can you imagine what he's going to be like 5 years down the road? This was a great fucking match. So, Ben Carter got caught with a Uranagi and a moonsault from Jordan Devlin. Devlin then kept the aggression as Carter came back with some swift maneuvers before Carter got popped up and dropped with a big flapjack. Carter then with a springboard dropkick. Devlin then fought back with a brainbuster for a 2 count. We had a double crossbody and both men are down. Carter then with a moonsault onto Jordan Devlin while he was standing up, AJ Styles style, into the Eye of the Hurricane on the outside, which looked beautiful. Back into the ring, Ben Carter hit the final cut, the same move that Dustin Rhodes uses, for a close 2 count. The Phoenix Splash missed from Jordan Devlin missed from Ben Carter. Jordan Devlin moved out of the way, and Jordan Devlin hit a beautiful Spanish fly for a 2. The Devlin side suplex was countered with a sunset flip powerbomb, but Jordan Devlin was able to kick out. That transition was fucking beautiful. Devlin then locked in the Texas Cloverleaf. He wrenched hard, but Carter was able to get to the ropes. Jordan Devlin then connected with the Devlin side suplex, and Jordan Devlin retains the NXT Cruiserweight Championship in a great fucking match. I am loving what Jordan Devlin's doing, and they're working in front of absolutely no fucking audience. They're working in front of absolutely no fucking audience. They are doing an excellent, excellent job. NXT UK. Great fucking match. Great main event. Jordan Devlin feels important. I don't have a problem with Supernova 11 sessions. We got A-Kid and Walter next week for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. NXT UK has some great stuff going on. And I hope that NXT UK is going to continue that momentum going into the early months of 2021 and beyond. So, this was a damn good episode of NXT UK. Nothing too crazy, but a great NXT Cruiserweight title match. Please, go out of your way to watch it. Let's check the chat. So, we're talking about Puerto Rico. Man, I need to get me a trip to Puerto Rico. Proud Mixed Child says Walter retains. Yes, I do believe that Walter retains as well. Quality matches that don't disappoint. Very true, Proud Mixed Child. Earl Cole loves Walter. Moving on to SmackDown. This is our final show. And we are going to have a lot of things to say about SmackDown before we get out of here. We're going over 3 hours, people. We're going over 3 hours. SmackDown. Listen, I don't want to say it was a bad show, because it wasn't. I don't want to say it was a terrible show. SmackDown, in terms of professional wrestling, SmackDown was a very good show. The wrestling aspect of SmackDown was quality. But in terms of booking, it's like WWE just couldn't fucking help themselves. The match quality on SmackDown was very, very good. I'm not going to sit here and say that SmackDown sucks. I'm not. But it's like WWE just couldn't help themselves but to pull their convoluted ass plans out of their bag of tricks and pretty much leave everyone with a fucking headache. And I'm gonna go into detail on that. So the show started off great with an excellent promo. With Reigns, Uso, and Heyman kicking off the show, he says, "I respect someone as ambitious as Kevin Owens." So obviously, they're talking about Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens, obviously, they're still mentioning him, so obviously he could still factor into what's going on later on in the month of January with Roman. He says, "I respect someone as ambitious as KO. I didn't want anything bad to happen to him. I love the roster, but KO don't have a chance to put food on the table, and the right decision would be to point the finger at Adam Pearce." So Pearce says, or not Pearce, Roman says, "Pearce, can you bring your ass down here?" So Pearce comes down, and Roman says, "Can you watch this clip?" So they replayed what happened last week. He goes, "What do you got to say for yourself? I want you to be a man and take responsibility. You think you made the right choice for him? We do our job. What do? You threw him into the shark tank, and now he can't provide for his family. And you have a chance to redeem yourself this week, but instead you make a gauntlet match like, I can't pick my opponent. I'm the head of the table." Pearce says, "I'm just trying to do my job." And Roman says, "Are you saying that I'm stupid? Are you saying that you're stupid? Are you saying that Vince McMahon is stupid? So if Vince McMahon is not stupid, if Adam Pearce is not stupid, then you most certainly must be calling me stupid. And that means you don't respect me." And then Roman started to grab Adam Pearce's collar. And Heyman was like, whoa, back off, relax. So Roman, obviously, cooler heads prevailed. Roman fixed Adam Pearce's suit. He goes, my mistake. Maybe nobody is stupid. For right now, you're perfectly safe. Now, my initial thoughts on this, I didn't know where this was leading to. I did not know where this was leading to later on in the show, but I didn't mind this promo at all. Matter of fact, I fucking loved this promo. WWE had a motive here for SmackDown, and I'm going to go in depth when we get to the Gauntlet match. WWE had a motive here for SmackDown, and the motive was to get Roman over as a dickhead. And they succeeded, and I didn't mind that whatsoever. That motive, I did not mind. Matter of fact, this promo was excellent. Roman Reigns just acting like a complete dickhead to a point where he's saying, I own everything, I make my matches, I'm the head of the table, I'm the tribal chief, everyone answers to me. I had no problem with that. That was not the issue here. Matter of fact, Roman Reigns is doing such good heel work to a point where if I did not know that this was kayfabe and it was all scripted and predetermined, I would legitimately want to see Roman get his ass kicked. I would legitimately want to punch Roman in the face myself. WWE's motive to get Roman over as a heel, to get Roman over as a complete douchebag, I have no problem with that. This was excellent. Roman Reigns is carrying the fucking company. I had no problem with this promo. I just didn't know where it was leading to. What Roman did here with Adam Pearce was great. It was some excellent stuff. But what happened later on in the show just left everyone with a fucking headache, which I'm going to talk about. But first things first. The segment to open the show. Great segment. Great segment. Get that out of the way. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff, I will say. So then we got Big E versus Apollo Crews. This was for the Intercontinental Championship. So Apollo went right after Big E, went right on the attack. Aggression. Fierce aggression right out of the gate with Apollo. Big E took over control. Apollo then with some shoulder tackles, a stinger splash. Then he did 3 German suplexes in a row. And Apollo Crews is believable in doing that on Big E. He is very believable in doing that on Big E because Apollo Crews, he is a big muscular guy. He's 235, 240 pounds. He can get people up. Apollo Crews is a big guy. So that got a 2 count. We had a moonsault to the floor by Crews, and then a superplex by Crews, and then we had a double cradle pinfall. The ref counted 3. Coming back from commercial, the referee says both shoulders were down and it's a draw. Big E was trying to extend a fist bump to Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews like, no. I don't want that. That's not how it's gonna go down. You're the champion. You're gonna let it go down like that. I don't want that. And he slapped Big E. He slapped the shit out of Big E. So we get the match restarted. And then we get Big E coming out of the gates with some vicious belly-to-belly suplexes and a big splash. Shit turned intense real quickly. Crews then with a knee, and then a frog splash off the top for a 2. Crews with a spine buster and a standing moonsault for a 2. Beautiful stuff here from Apollo Crews. Big E then with a stretch muffler submission, but Crews is able to fight his way out of it. Crews ran into the corner. He got planted with a Uranagi. He got planted with a Uranagi, and it looked like he got planted right on his neck with the Uranagi. He got folded up like an accordion, and then Big E hit the big ending for the win. And that was that. I don't know why they did this double pin bullshit and why they did this double pin angle where both men's shoulders were down, and then we needed to have the referee saying that it was a draw, and then Apollo Crews slapped Big E. I don't know why we needed to go through all of this bullshit. It honestly stifled the momentum of the match, and luckily, Apollo Crews and Big E, they picked up the intensity, which I loved. which I loved, and they went right after each other. I had no issue with that. But I don't understand why we needed this double pin bullshit and why we needed this overly convoluted scenario. I don't know who pulled this decision. I don't know why we needed the double pin and having Apollo Crews slap Big E only for the match to get restarted. I don't understand why you couldn't have just continued the match straight through the commercial. It really doesn't make any sense to me. Unless they're going forth with a heel turn for Apollo Crews. Unless Apollo Crews is actually going to be a focal point. And Apollo Crews is going to be a newly turned heel. Which I don't mind. If Apollo Crews is given a little bit more of an edge to him, I don't mind that whatsoever. I think everyone would agree that Apollo Crews with a little bit more of an edge would be best for him. So I don't mind that if this little double pinfall angle leads to a heel turn or Apollo Crews getting more of an edge. I don't mind that. But it just seemed unnecessary. It just seemed like unnecessary to do this double pin bullshit, and it really just should have continued through the commercial break. But, minus the double pin bullshit, the match was very good for what it was. Minus the double pin bullshit, the match was very, very good for what it was. It was intense, it was hard-hitting, Apollo Crews is great, Big E is great. This is what the IC title needs to be about. This is what we need to see. If we see more of this, then the IC title is going to be that much better off, and Big E is going to be that much better off. I had no problem with the match itself, but the double pinfall, unless it's leading to a heel turn for Apollo Crews, it was unnecessary. Well, scratch that. It was unnecessary regardless. You could have figured out another way to do Apollo Crews turning heel or getting more of an edge without the double pin bullshit. The match just should have continued straight through the commercial. But the match was very good for what it was, I will say. Sonya Deville was in the back and she said she wanted to help Adam Pearce. So apparently, Sonya Deville is now the assistant to Adam Pearce. And we still haven't gotten an answer as to why she's returned. Still haven't gotten an answer as to why she's returned. Unreal. Street Profits versus Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. This was pretty much the same thing as Big E and Apollo Crews. We didn't have any mid-match double pin bullshit, but we got the wrong outcome. The match itself, I will say, was great. So, Ziggler and Roode, they targeted the injured leg of Ford. Ford with a big tope con hero on Roode and Ziggler. Dawkins mounted a comeback before Roode and Ziggler were able to take over control again. Ford got the hot tag. Ford with some stiff strikes, a back body drop. Ford with a big clothesline to Ziggler for a 2. We had a face buster by Ziggler off the top for a 2. A super kick by Ford. Roode was able to save the match. Dawkins then threw Roode out of the ring before Dolph Ziggler chopped out the leg. And Roode tagged in with a beautiful fisherman suplex for a 2. Ford with an enziguri to Dolph Ziggler. And then we had a spinebuster zigzag combination for the win. And Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And then they toss the Profits out of the ring. The outcome made no sense. The outcome made no sense, and we should not have gotten Roode and Ziggler winning the titles. I don't know why the fuck they gave Roode and Ziggler the titles. I'm still wondering who the fuck's going to challenge Roode and Ziggler should they retain against the Profits. I don't expect them to retain against the Profits. I actually expect the Street Profits to win the titles back at the Royal Rumble. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why we needed to get the Street Profits losing the titles here. Street Profits should have retained. I don't understand why you couldn't have built up Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. They're still a tag team. Why couldn't you have built up them for a potential match against the Street Profits at the Elimination Chamber next month? Why couldn't you have built them up for a match against the Elimination Chamber next month? Why did you need to give Roode and Ziggler the titles? Other than that, the match was fucking great. Match went 15 minutes. Great shit. I didn't have a problem with the match. I didn't have a problem with the match whatsoever. Matter of fact, I was tweeting, was that so hard? Why can't you do this with the entire fucking tag team division? The match was fucking great. This is the type of tag team competition that we need to be seeing week in and week out in terms of tag team wrestling on the main roster. I don't understand why we aren't seeing that. Match was great, but in no way, shape, or form should Ziggler and Roode have won the titles. Now what do? You ruined the Street Profits' momentum and took the titles off from just to put it back on them at the Royal Rumble, which I have a feeling is going to happen. I'm telling you, I have a feeling it's going to happen. Who cares? Unreal. Street Profits should have retained. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman informed Adam Pearce that he was in the Gauntlet match. He pulled some strings, and Adam Pearce is in the Gauntlet match. Although, I'm still wondering, how can Heyman do that? How can Heyman do that if Adam Pearce is a WWE official? He's pretty much the unofficial GM of Raw and SmackDown, so I don't understand why Adam Pearce is being manipulated and he's having strings pulled behind his back. I don't understand. It's illogical. We did have the Riot Squad and Billy Kay having a backstage segment. Billy Kay is AIDS. This is your weekly fuck Billy Kay and all of her supporters. Then we get the Gauntlet match. So, Mysterio and Zayn started off the Gauntlet match. Zayn was going on about the conspiracy theory about being number one in the Gauntlet match, yada, yada, yada. Conspiracy theory, Sami Zayn. Ray, as soon as the bell rings, he hit the 619 in the frog splash, and Ray advanced. Sami Zayn has turned into a complete fucking joke. And I honestly feel bad for the guy. The guy was actually better. He actually had more credibility and legitimacy as a babyface. And they weren't even fucking using him as a babyface. They weren't even fucking using Sami Zayn on television as a babyface. Now look at what they're doing. Now, they are using him on television every week, but they're embarrassing him. If anything, if I was given the choice of stay in catering or get used every week to be embarrassed, I would fucking stay in catering. Sami Zayn has become an absolute fucking joke. He had more legitimacy and credibility as a babyface, and it absolutely fucking sickens me. It really absolutely fucking sickens me. He's devalued. He's been delegitimized. I would absolutely, if I were Sami Zayn, I'd leave. When his contract is up, I'd leave. Fucking ridiculous. So, Nakamura came out next. Nakamura and Rey, they had a nice back and forth. Nakamura ended up making Rey Mysterio tap out with the armbar. And then in came King Corbin, Baron Corbin, Burger King Corbin, Kentucky Fried Chicken King Corbin, White Castle Corbin. So, Corbin drove Nakamura into the post. Shinsuke then with a drop kick. Shinsuke came back, went for the Kinshasa, but Baron Corbin delivered a deep 6 for a 2. Shinsuke then with the Kinshasa out of nowhere to advance. Yes, Shinsuke advanced. Shinsuke beat Corbin. And then it came down to Shinsuke and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan and Nakamura had another nice back and forth. And we had Bryan locking in a Rings of Saturn on Nakamura. Before we had Nakamura reversing it. He got to the ropes. Bryan then with the drop kicks. He had the drop kicks in the corner before Nakamura out of nowhere again with another Kinshasa. And Nakamura eliminated Daniel Bryan. Nakamura eliminated Daniel Bryan before Roman, Jay, and Heyman came out. And Pierce came out in sneakers, sweatpants, and a jacket. Uso then attacked Nakamura with Roman. Super kick, Superman punch, and an Uso splash. Roman bullied Pierce into pinning Shinsuke. Pierce caught a super kick from Jay. The bell rang. Uso put Pierce on top of Shinsuke, and the referee counted 3. I legitimately don't even know what to think of this. I don't even think WWE realizes what they did on SmackDown. First off, I understand that your motive was to get Roman Reigns over as a dick. To get him over as a prick. I have no issue with that. And Roman Reigns looked like the biggest dickhead in the world. He looked like the biggest dickhead on the planet. I got no issue with what they did in terms of getting Roman over as a dick. This makes Roman even more hated. I got no issue with that. But in doing so, they ignored everything else around them and operated with this one-track mind while going through logic gap after logic gap after logic gap. And they have multiple issues that need to be addressed, and I don't even think they're going to address issue number 1. They ain't going to address issue number 1. First off, where does Kevin Owens fit into this? Is Kevin Owens going to get a rematch against Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble? Number two, where does Shinsuke Nakamura fit into this? Number three, where does Goldberg fit into this? Number 4, where does Adam Pearce fit into this? What happens to Adam Pearce? Do they really go forth with Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble? At this rate, I wouldn't put it past them. This is the same company that gave Nicholas, a 10-year-old kid, referee John Cone's son, the Raw Tag Team titles with Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 34 almost 3 years ago. This is the same company that gave Jinder Mahal the WWE Championship. This is the same company that gave Goldberg the Universal Championship twice. This is the same company for 5 years plundered Roman Reigns down our throats when he was a babyface before some miracle, I don't even know how the fuck it happened. I don't even know what the fuck happened. I don't know how the fuck they did it. I don't know who spoke to who. I don't know who came to their senses, but by some fucking miracle, they turned Roman Reigns heel, and now he's the fucking tribal chief. Now he's the head of the table, but for 5 years, they plundered Roman down our throats. This is the same company that did all of that. So I wouldn't put it past them to go forth with fucking Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't fucking put it past them. Here's one of my questions. I have so many fucking questions to ask. Where does KO fit into this? Where does Nakamura fit into this? What happens to Adam Pearce? What happens to Daniel Bryan? Does Bryan win the Rumble and face Roman at Mania? Does Goldberg win the Rumble? Does Goldberg win the WWE Championship? And does he face off against Roman title for title at WrestleMania? And if they do that, what's going to happen with the Royal Rumble winner? Does the Royal Rumble winner get a shot at WrestleMania? Does it become a triple threat match? Does it involve the Royal Rumble winner challenging the world champion at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view? John Cena did that all the way back in 2008 with Randy Orton, which resulted in John Cena, Triple H, and Orton having a triple threat match at WrestleMania 24. If your original plan was to have Kevin Owens challenge Roman Reigns, and we are looking at Kevin Owens working his way back into the Universal Championship title scene, I don't understand why you didn't just do that shit at the Rumble. if Kevin Owens is going to end up winning the Royal Rumble, which I don't think he is, but if you want to have Kevin Owens win the Rumble and go on a redemption story to WrestleMania and then have Kevin Owens beat Roman for the Universal title at WrestleMania, I don't understand why you didn't just book Daniel Bryan versus Roman at the Rumble. Then you could have had Kevin Owens win the Royal Rumble, and Kevin Owens would have gotten a match against Roman at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens would have won the Universal title at WrestleMania. I don't understand why you didn't just do that if you wanted to keep Kevin Owens in this storyline alive. I don't think that they're going that route, but that's a possibility. What about if Kevin Owens comes back and gets the shot at the Rumble? I don't understand why you didn't just book the match at the fucking Royal Rumble to begin with. I don't understand why you didn't just book the match at the Royal Rumble to begin with. Now, on top of that, in building up Roman as a prick heel, and ignoring everything else by booking this illogical fucking gauntlet match, it backfired on you, and now it actually benefited someone. It actually benefited Shinsuke Nakamura, who, for the first time since his NXT run, looked like a legitimate fucking competitor, defeating Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan, and Baron Corbin in the same match, going nearly 40 minutes, only to get fucked over. Nakamura looked like a fucking babyface. What's going to happen with Nakamura? Is that just going to be something that you leave open? Is Nakamura going to get an opportunity at the Rumble? Is Nakamura going to get an opportunity at the Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania? Is Nakamura and this opportunity even going to be addressed? I don't think so. What's going to happen with Daniel Bryan now? I don't understand why Daniel Bryan wasn't the one fucked over. Unless Daniel Bryan's still going to win the Rumble, which I hope he is. I really do hope he is. But are you really going to have Nakamura go through a nearly 40-minute performance, beating Rey, Corbin, and Bryan to get fucked over, and he doesn't even get an opportunity at Roman? Is Goldberg going to win the Universal Championship or win the WWE Championship and take the title off of Drew McIntyre? Is he going to win the Royal Rumble? Could he potentially win the Royal Rumble and fight Roman? Is Roman going to have 2 titles? WWE has left us with so many more questions than answers, and not the good kind. I really do not fucking understand what the motive here is. You're doing all these crazy ass, quote unquote, out of the box ideas, and in turn, it's not generating any interest. It's not going to spark up the ratings. It's giving your audience a fucking headache. I'm getting a fucking headache just thinking about this shit. Enough of these over-the-top, topsy-turvy, twisty-windy roads to get to your destination. Pick a road that is straight. Pick a road that is clear. Pick a road that is simple and easy to follow. Do something that is easy to understand. Pick the simplest route. It is so much easier. It is so much better. It actually is easy to follow, makes sense, and the audience won't be left with a fucking headache. There's all of these issues that need to be addressed. Is it going to be a triple threat match? Roman, Owens, and Nakamura at the Royal Rumble. Is it going to be a fatal 4-way with Roman, Owens, Nakamura, and Adam Pearce? Is Adam Pearce going to find a substitute? Is Adam Pearce really going to compete against Roman at the Rumble? I'm just at a loss for words. I legitimately don't know what to say. I don't know where to turn. I am fucking confused. It's like they don't even know where they want to go. If the end result was going to be Kevin Owens, at the Royal Rumble with Adam Pearce, I don't understand why you needed to do this unnecessary fucking gauntlet match, and you needed to put forth a fucking great performance with Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura had a great performance. A performance that legitimately made people want to see him win. People actually wanted to see him win. I was talking to multiple people, and I saw my timeline. People actually wanted to see Nakamura fucking win. You built this gauntlet match with a motto of get Roman Reigns over as a dickhead. And you succeeded, but in doing so, you had Nakamura pretty much have a complete 180 turn, and he turned fucking babyface right before everybody's eyes. He turned babyface right before everybody's eyes, and now you have a scenario where, are you even going to address it? Are you even going to address the fact that Nakamura put on a great fucking performance and he was fucked over? I don't understand why Daniel Bryan wasn't in this position, and that way it would have made a little bit more sense to have Daniel Bryan lose to Adam Pearce, and he gets fucked over. I legitimately don't know what else to say. I don't know where they're going. I don't even think they know what they want to fucking do. I'm looking at this, I'm like, you got Roman over as a dickhead, but you got all these scenarios that need to be addressed. Is KO coming back? Because that storyline clearly ain't finished. KO still has shit to take care of with Roman Reigns. What's going to happen with Nakamura and Roman Reigns? What's going to happen with Bryan and Roman Reigns? What's going to happen with Goldberg and Roman Reigns? Are they even going to go forth with Goldberg and Roman Reigns? God, I hope fucking not. What's going to happen with Adam Pearce now? What's going to happen with Adam Pearce now? Is Adam Pearce really going to face Roman at the Rumble? I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. In terms of getting Roman over as a dickhead, like I said, it was great. I had no problem with it. But now, you have all of these scenarios in which now you need to address, and again, I don't even think WWE is going to address scenario number 1. How many fucking illogical scenarios did people see in this? I literally, it's like you turn the corner and there's an illogical scenario right before your very eyes with this company. Just in this show alone. Just in this show alone. Logic gap after logic gap after logic gap. And questions upon questions upon questions upon questions. We have mountains of questions and zero answers. Where is this leading to? I don't know. In terms of wrestling, SmackDown was not a bad show. But in terms of booking, it is just an absolutely overly convoluted fucking mess. We just went 3 hours and 16 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. You mean the world to me. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please check out all the links in the description. We had a great stream. This stream was fucking loaded. This was a loaded LFU. It was an excellent stream. Thank you to Proud Mixed Child. Thank you, Danielle, Cool King, Earl Cole, Hannah Bliss, Cody Talks. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. I owe you the world. Definitely means a lot to me. Please check out all the links. Like, comment, subscribe. Of course, Earl Cole, me and Earl Cole will be back in action. The boys will be back in town for the rundown for the Royal Rumble. That is going to be on the 29th of January. And on top of that, next week on the 13th, I invade the Hibiki brand as me and Hibiki TMD will be collaborating. I will be on his channel, so go subscribe to Hibiki TMD. I will be appearing on his channel to review the Royal Rumble from 1995. It's going to be a good time, because you're always going to have a good time with DJ Storms. Anyway, I'm going to go and I'm going to eat something. I'm starving right now. I'm going to go eat something. I'm going to go relax. Probably check my schedule. For work. Maybe apply to some more accounting jobs, because I am an absolute genius when it comes to this. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update, and I will see you guys next week on the 16th for yet another LFU. You guys have an awesome weekend.